We're live.
Like right now.
Like right now.
Like we're live right
Yes,
now.
like right now. Like we have excellent connection and our video is alive.
Oh, and then it just told me auto shutdown enabled. Press power to cancel. I was like, oh no.
Turtle beaches for you. Sons of bitches.
Power enabled. Okay. Now we're live. Well.
Indeed.
So how was trunk or treat, buddy?
It was horrible. The kids, they're good kids, but they just wanted to go this way, that way. Actually, Dean was fairly good. Rayleigh just wanted candy. She was walking up to strangers, holding her bag open, saying trick or treat, and they were throwing candy in there. And then she would take off to the next one, and I had to stop her because there's a line of people. There was probably, I feel like, 500-600 people there. It was a big turnout.
Really?
Yeah, and it was horrible. Maybe even more. I don't know, but it was horrible. Anyone from the Shelbyville, Indiana area, we had a trunk or treat tonight at the Blue River Memorial Park. Is that right behind Walmart?
I don't even know what that's called.
Lee Boulevard.
I didn't even know that was there for the longest time.
Yeah, it's a nice park, but so they had that down there. It was a good time. Just wasn't a big fan of waiting. Excuse me. The lines were very long, and with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, not the most fun. But the kids liked it. They got a lot of candy. In essence, in my socialist home, I have a lot of candy, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. We have one watching.
Okay, I was gonna ask what the.
Oh, don't you do that to me. Oh, just Inception. I'm just sharing the link, people. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
But, go ahead. You were getting ready to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, welcome to the second podcast.
Yes, welcome.
I'm still shocked at the reception we got for the first one, legitimately. So thank everyone who watched and reached out and told us what they thought.
Oh, and by the way, thank you for the 2 comments and
yes,
likes. The likes obviously make videos go around in
the
world, the algorithm.
This one's for you, Sednick. Right here.
And we definitely appreciate the new subs. That's also very
nice. I'm still shocked.
Because, once we get to a certain amount of subscribers and, make a little bit of money, we can get better equipment.
Yeah.
And we won't sound like shit, and he won't be wearing gaming headphones that were only like $100.
I don't know. I'm kind of used to them now.
I know, but the thing is, and hopefully it's not like insanely too loud.
Holy shit, 3 people.
Hey.
3 whole people.
Hey.
Watching us live.
Yeah, so hey guys, there's a live chat, so if you have any questions or whatnot, obviously this is
Now does that bad boy pop up, or do we have to open it?
What, the chat?
Yeah.
It pops up automatically.
Awesome.
I just wasn't paying attention to it because last time I really didn't expect anyone, and Ben got on there.
Yeah, Ben had some good questions, or comments rather. But.
Yeah.
So Ben, if you're watching, is it saying something?
No, it just
okay.
says say something.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop engaging with the window.
Oh, you're good. No, the thing is, if you I just gained a subscriber too. But.
Aha! So it did say something. I'm not crazy. Oh no, I'm crazy, but. All right. Well, while you're doing that, we talked about this off air, but I want to start these segments. I want to start these podcasts with a segment called "What Did We Fuck Up?"
Yes, from our last podcast.
Yeah, last podcast I said a couple of things and I wasn't 100% sure about. I thought I was right, but I wanted to go over them.
Lori Van says, we demand more pin twirling. He's got a pin.
All night. There are stranger things on the internet.
Yes.
But anyway.
There's also a show. It's a very good show. I can't do the pop filter.
Oh, Stranger Things?
Oh, that's a fantastic show.
Dude, I can't get into it.
Yeah, well, you're kicked.
I'm sorry. It was a fun ride. 1 1/8 podcast, and I got kicked off.
But anyway, all right.
So the first thing I said was I was pretty sure that Canada legalized marijuana in 2018. I was correct. It was actually October 17th, the day after my birthday. If I was a stoner, I would have been one happy. Well, if I was a stoner and Canadian, I would have been one happy camper.
He's not Canadian, people.
Nor am I a stoner.
He may have a very dry sense of humor, but he's not Canadian.
I didn't know Canadians were dry. I thought they were just polite.
Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
Fucking.
I thought they were Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Oh, I know he's Canadian, but he's hardly dry.
Oh, he's dry or anything. People just buttering him up to make him not dry.
True.
You gotta think he's a puppet, and
he got started doing impressions.
Well, yeah, because he's really funny.
I randomly started. I don't remember. I think I was watching an interview he did with David Spade like recently, and he was talking about his early career. So I just went on YouTube and I researched a bunch of old Jim Carrey stand-up. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite good. Except I see a lot of what would become Ace Ventura, including the "Alrighty then" bit.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. That was birthed in his stand-up. That was all him.
Oh, I used to love Jim Carrey.
I still
like him, but he's off the deep end. Like,
money does that.
I don't think it's money, man. I think he. I know this. Can I get the hat?
Oh yeah.
I need the hat. Hold on.
This is supposed to debut later, but this is appropriate.
This is appropriate. So. So, Jim Carrey, you got to think, man, with everything that's going on in Hollywood and, the pedophilia and this and that, the dude has probably been taken to the deepest, darkest parts of society, and he's probably seen some shit that we don't know about. And honestly, you got to think, under knowing all that stuff, he could crack.
Maybe, yeah. Well, plus he went through a really bad bout of depression. In fact, what movie was it? I'm trying to remember if it was I don't think it was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What?
27?
Maybe. Or something about a room. Yeah, the number 27, right?
Well, I just remember in that movie. I actually never watched it. It was a movie about the number 27. It was like a fascination with the number 27.
Maybe. I think that might have been it. That'll be next time.
Well, 27. He did drink the Kool-Aid. Definitely.
Who drank the Kool-Aid?
Lori Van said he drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh. Well, no. I remember reading a comment, which, by the way, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, fantastic movie, but you gotta stick through it because it's weird, but it's totally worth it. I had to watch it for college, and you have to understand, I just watched 4 of the worst movies I'd ever seen in my fucking life. So I put this one on, and of course, it's fucking weird. But then about halfway through, I clicked what was going on, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. It's so goddamn good.
I gotta give the hat back.
Yeah, but anyway, we can keep that there now. The point I was making is apparently Jim Carrey was going through a really bad bout of clinical depression at the time, and the director actually said something really fucking shitty to him. He was like, you should be like this all the time because your art is just phenomenal. And it's like, what a shitty thing to say.
That's typical.
I know, I agree. And I forget who the director was, but yeah, he's an asshole. So anyway, we're gonna do this a lot, especially if you watched the last one.
Oh, his paintings are amazing. I'm not doubting his artistic.
It was Jim Carrey's painting.
Yeah, have you not seen his paintings?
No.
Like they're wildly they're like
George W. is a pretty good painter too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Paints cocaine and like.
No, he does really good portraits.
That's weird.
I know. I was shocked.
My mother-in-law, there's some paintings at my wife's grandma's, and they're amazing. And I'm like, why weren't you a painter? And her thing was the same thing with me with computers. Going into that, I didn't like doing it as a profession.
I did the same thing with video editing.
Oh,
I
had so. A nightmare.
I love it, dude. But here's the thing: I ended up going to college for it, and
good.
There was a handful of projects that I had fun with, but most of it was just it wasn't fun. It was just a pain in the ass, and I'd always get shitty notes because in college they give you notes for the sake of giving you notes, even if it's really good. And it's so I'm making changes that I know are fucking stupid. but you have to change something. It's kind of like how in school they make you do a rough draft, and it's like, even though this is really good, but you have to change shit just so you can go through the process. But anyway, I digress. I was also correct. It was Andrew Jackson who got shot. He actually got shot at twice.
Oh shit!
And I read the transcript of what happened, and this is too funny. So the guy's got 2 pistols, right? He fires one and it misfires, but like it fires, but the round doesn't leave. And so he fucks that up. And then I guess it would have been raining, so I guess it affected because they were shitty pistols. But anyway, and then he misfires again. And at this point, Jackson hears and sees the commotion that's going on and realizes the dude has pistols and goes out and beats the living shit out of him with his cane. Davy Crockett, the Davy Crockett, who I guess was a senator at the time, had to pull him off the dude.
Davy Crockett, people.
Davy Crockett was the voice of reason. Oh, anyway. And yes, Indiana did go blue in the 2008 election.
Oh, I don't doubt it. It was a little different back then, Obama.
Oh, I know. It was totally different. Oh, I'm sorry. I did fuck one thing up.
Oh.
I forgot, because this was a side note that I had. I said Ross Perot ran as an independent. Kind of. He helped found a new political party, but it was the Reform Party.
It was a Reform Party. You see, I've heard constitutional party.
The Constitution Party, the Justice Party, the Libertarians, and the Green Party, I think, are the 4 largest independents.
Okay, but obviously Libertarian nowadays is...
I think Libertarian is the 3rd largest political party in the country.
Rightfully so. I mean, honestly.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
Most of them...
And then I think Green Party is number 4.
Which one's that?
Jill Stein. They're the ones that make Democrats look conservative.
Oh.
They're the way... But I actually have more respect for them because at least they own the left. Like, they own their leftism.
Yeah.
And they don't apologize for it, which I can respect. But they're not like communist left. It's weird. They're not that far left, but they're really environmental.
Speaking of leftists and how like socialism and communism is like really big in the left. I think it's just the people who are getting airtime, who are really into this. It's not the bulk, and it's like the bulk of conservatives and Republicans. They're not all assholes.
No, a lot of conservatives... I think I've always said that conservatism at its core is essentially just leave me alone and let me handle my business.
Right.
Now, again, you get a little... It got a little dicey when, abortion got involved and religion got involved, but I think conservatism at its core is... I mean, essentially, libertarians, I think, were classically conservatives, but without the, fundamentalist Christian viewpoints that a lot of conservatives had. Not all, but a lot. At least contemporary conservatives. Not sure how we got on that one.
I have no idea anymore. Half the time, it's just whatever it is.
We got to stop trying to figure that out.
Bullet points.
So... I refer to this debate as the doublespeak debate.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question, but I want you to answer the question I asked you before during your segment.
So first of all, the moderator was awful.
Terrible. And on top of that...
Can't read a teleprompter for shit because...
What did... Yes.
And almost every question was in fact a paragraph of a statement and then a tack on of a question.
Yeah, and like her bias, like I don't know if it was in the teleprompter, if it was something she.
It was probably in the teleprompter because
whoever wrote that, there was extreme bias towards the current administration's
everything.
The coronavirus, remember?
Yeah, but that's nothing new.
I know, but you heard it like it's not under control, and it's like. I'm not gonna say it's not under control. I mean that's can go back and forth. It can go either way. But the thing is, it's like to blatantly say it's not under control.
To blatantly say it's a failure.
Yeah.
When you don't know, because you don't know what would have happened otherwise.
Exactly.
Which I'm gonna touch on here in a minute.
Anyway, so we're not gonna get too crazy.
Not crazy yet, because trust me, that's gonna come. So I thought to myself, because I listened to the debate first, then I went back and watched it. And as I'm listening to the debate, I'm realizing, and this is both canon, neither one of them is really answering questions.
Not really one. Like,
so
I noticed, like, once, I think, Pence, she answered a couple.
I kept score.
Oh, shit. All right, well, then you got me. Let's go ahead with that.
So, technically, and again, take this with a grain of salt, and you'll see why here in a second. Technically, Kamala Harris won by 1 point. But here's how I scored it. If they actually directly answered the question that was asked, they got a point. They get a half point if they kind of answered it, but not... Like, they kind of answered it, but for some other reason I feel like they didn't really answer it. So Harris answered, like, flat out answered 3 questions, and then she got 1/2 point because she answered it real quick. Or what did I say? Oh, she answered the question, but when she answered it, she lied, and then immediately changed the subject. And it was a flat out lie.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that a couple of times.
Oh yeah, she flat out lied on more than one occasion.
Yeah. Her comment, saying something about people were standing in food lines. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, and I took major issue with that. Maybe, but I don't.
I mean, what she wasn't talking about, like.
Well, but like I thought bread lines were good.
Bread line.
I thought bread lines were good.
The thing is, though, like, was she? I didn't know what she was referencing. Like,
well, that's the problem. Is a lot of what she was talking about. It's just like what?
Yeah, I was like,
what? Where? When? How? What?
And then, once again, trying to use old rhetoric to beat a dead horse. That horse was dead.
No, that horse has been dead since 2019. And then Pence was the king of almost answering, because he actually only flat out answered one question, and it was the last one from the 8th grader. Mm-hmm. And I almost didn't give him that one because it seemed like it was really patronizing. I actually had to go back and watch his answer twice because I'm like, did he really answer?
I thought his concluding remarks to that student were fair.
They were fair. They were fair.
It was actually like, it felt more heartfelt, and it felt like it was more towards her.
It did, but here's the thing, and this is why I say that. The question was, how do we, I'm paraphrasing, but she basically asked, like, how do we come together and stop all the, like, partisanship? And he almost didn't answer. He did answer it, but almost didn't.
Okay, I'll give you that. But hers was an attack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, she did not get credit for that one.
You're going to use that student's question to attack the other. It's like, really?
Well, the left is fantastic at using people.
Exactly what Lori Van, she said, for many countries, our left isn't enough, and that is, our left is insane, but, there's other countries that are crazy. And then she also says the left has a terrible problem with branding.
Yes,
I'm assuming labeling, right?
Well, no, as in pushing, like, here's why the left is awesome. But here's the thing. It's a lot easier in other countries to push a leftist narrative because, well, there's a lot of reasons, and it kind of depends on where you are. But for the most part, it's hard to push that agenda in the U.S. because we just have a history of that Republican, and I don't mean the political party, I mean like the classical Republican view of government, where, and this is a big, important...
We are a republic.
Well, yes, we are a republic, but... I know. And here's what I mean by this. For those of you who don't know, my business partner is Canadian. And...
He has a very dry sense of humor.
Extremely. Extremely, eh? But anyway, he and I got into a little bit of a debate on... well, we get on a debate on a lot of things, but... Apparently, Canada has some pretty hard to follow hate speech laws.
Yeah, actually, Steven Crowder.
Oh, that's right. He did a really good piece on that.
On it, and like basically, hate speech, among other things. Like I want to say it was just hate speech. I can't remember,
but basically,
strict. Like very strict.
Well, long story short, apparently, if you utter a racial slur and are caught, at least you can be fined and
Right.
potentially jail time depending on the context. And he said, like, I don't think, and this is really, really controversial, and I kind of hate this argument because it almost forces, and the left does this a lot. So, like, for example, I'll just kind of paraphrase the argument. He said, I don't think you should be able to say the N-word. And I said, well, I disagree. However, like, but it's hard to argue that point because basically if I'm arguing with someone from the left and I say, yes, you should be able to say the N-word, like, I'm not going to say it. I hate that word.
But
You definitely hate that word.
the only thing that drives me nuts is, obviously I don't like it, but if you're gonna say that word can't be said, then all other slurs, including
Right.
every single race, have to be thrown into that bucket too. And that's a problem with today's is cherry picking. You know?
Well, again, that's what I was. Yeah, that's the crux of the argument. So basically, if a leftist were to ask that question, and notice I say leftist, not liberal, if a leftist asks that question, what they're trying to do is make me say something that basically I admit to being racist.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They're
And it's a
gotcha.
dirty trick, and they do it a lot. They're really, well, they think they're really good at the gotcha thing, but really all you have to do is stay composed and just say, no, cite this little guy. And it's like, look, the First Amendment applies across all speech is protected. That doesn't mean it's good speech.
Yes.
But you cannot cherry pick what's protected because we've seen what happens.
Look to Canada.
Well, Canada's a light example.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, for example,
Cuba,
I'm going to
when they were
cite.
talking about Castro, like they would.
Oh yeah,
In the street.
The thought police.
Yeah.
But I was going to cite Nazi Germany.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know when this actually started being enforced, but at some point, if you didn't respond to the Heil Hitler with Heil Hitler, you could actually get in trouble. And I'm not talking like a fine. I mean, like the Gestapo would kick your door in, and because you would have been suspected of being, anti-Nazi.
Yeah.
So, and that's dangerous because, if you can't resist a movement with speech, I mean, that's the beginning, because speech is what's going to incite that resistance.
Yeah, that's the exact thing. Is like if they don't allow free speech, then you don't have anyone.
Well, and I'd like to remind all of our friends out there on the left that you're definitely exercising your First Amendment rights.
Yeah. So
I mean,
try not to shut other people down. Like
yeah,
there's nothing
because
wrong
if
with
you
debate.
what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you want to trash, you're allowed to trash Trump. You can stand outside the White House lawn and throw up 2 double birds, and they can't do anything to you.
You know why?
Because of the First Amendment, and that's because you live here.
Yes, and don't trash anyone on their faith, their anything. It's like just be respectful. It's not that hard.
Well, and I'll cite.
You can make jokes. And
Yeah.
whatnot, but just
Jokes are fun.
be respectful.
Jokes are fun.
Just a tad bit, eh?
I'll laugh at anything as long as it's funny, even if it's at my expense.
Did you see what Lori Van put? She put that oh so great universal healthcare, eh?
Well,
Yeah.
I know plenty of Canadians who debate that, but it's just kind of, you live with it and you learn to work the system. But if you think for a second there's not a black market for medical care up there, you're dead wrong.
Yeah, I guarantee it gets pretty dicey up there.
But yeah, so basically, in this sense, Harris won the debate. She did not win the debate, but in the sense of actually answering questions, she got 1 more point. And I didn't just count the questions from the moderator. Any time they were asked a direct question, whether it was by their opponent or the moderator or an 8th grader.
Every time Pence got a question, though, it just cracked me up when he would answer, or he would use his time to rebuttal.
Oh, he was
statement.
shameless about it.
And
I almost took a point away from him because he pissed me off.
You're like, just answer the fucking question.
Well, no, at one point, I almost took a point away from him when he was like, well, I'm going to take my time and answer. I'm like, oh, dude.
It wasn't the fact that he was, like, taking time to answer, like to rebuttal a little bit, but it was like he took up the whole 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking just.
Well, that's why I gave him a half point on one, because he answered the question, but it was
like
at the very.
Speaking in cursive, it's like, dude, just answer the question.
Well, he got a half point, and I forget which question it was, but he got a half point because he used up all of his time, and then he had to beg for more time, and then answered the question real quick. So.
Lori Van says, does Pence get a point for keeping the fly in his hair?
No, but I have some thoughts on that.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, after that debate, I think I'd vote for the fly.
The fly is the people's choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some of those memes are fantastic.
I still can't believe, like, I can, like, sense a fly around my head. How do you not just, like, bam? And I was like, man, was this dude so deep in thought?
I have a thought.
Oh.
So what I took away from this debate is that Mike Pence uses way too much hair product. I mean, look at that coif.
You know what? It does kind of look like it could take a...
I mean, that's like a helmet. I mean, because I know what you're saying. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I feel a fly around my hair. For it to land on me and me not notice it. So that's one of two things. He either uses way too much hair product or he should be a Navy SEAL. Because that level of focus is not normal.
Well, he definitely deserves something for letting that fly sit there and not notice it. Like,
Well, you notice, so...
We should give him a gift card or something, yeah.
Well, no, here's how we spin on this. He should run with the Green Party. He did not kill that fly. He let that fly live.
People. He is a humanitarian.
He's a compassionate... He might as well... Maybe he's Jainist. Or Jain... Is it... Maybe he's...
Jadist?
Jainism.
Jainism? I don't know what that is.
It's a religion... It's one of the minority religions in India, but their whole... If any Jains ever watch this, I apologize, because I'm butchering your faith, and I'm not doing it intentionally, but basically all
Karens
life...
too.
Fuck the Karens.
Anyway, Jainism.
I will shit all over their religion. And haircuts without remorse.
Their religion is Kroger.
No, that's just their house of worship. Ooh. Shots fired. Anyway, but basically all life is sacred. Like, Jains are not even... Obviously, they're vegetarian, but like they're not even supposed to kill a fly.
I know this is kind of off the subject, but Morgan, Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
All life is sacred.
There's some Jainist philosophy in there.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Now, I'm trying to remember because it's been so long since I watched the show.
The guy that taught him, the chubby guy, do you remember him?
Yeah, was he Jain or Buddhist? I'm trying to remember. I just don't remember.
I'm not really sure what he was.
Because there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, but I think the book of whatever it was that he was teaching him, I can't remember.
It might have been Jane's. I can't remember.
Because I recently just rewatched that, so it's very fresh in the noggin. Eggnog.
All right. My first beef was actually before either of the candidates spoke, when the moderator was talking about the Commission on Presidential Debates, and she actually said it with a straight face, nonpartisan. There's a wonderful article on howstuffworks.com if you search Commission on Presidential Debates, but I'll give you the condensed version. So what happened is the debates used to be hosted by the League of Women Voters, and they were a nonpartisan group. However, the H.W. Bush campaign got caught, and I mean literally got caught, trying to control the questions that were going to be in the debate, and the League of Women Voters said, we're out. We don't want anything to do with this nonsense. Like, because the whole point was to be anti-partisan, anti-corruption. So then the Democratic and Republican Party created the Commission on Presidential Debates and also set the standards for inclusion in those debates, which changed like a motherfucker after Ross Perot came into the 1992 debate and just floored those two. Back then, you only had to poll, I think it was about 7%. Now it's 15% across 5 national polls. But the kicker is, like the Libertarian Party, for example, they might be on them now, but I doubt it. I know they weren't before. Like, they weren't even an option, because the polls are really polls are, I wish they would stop citing polls because polls are inherently dishonest. So, for example, and I've seen this poll, or at least it's an older one. I don't know if it's like this anymore. But the first question is, are you a Democrat or a Republican? Like, which political party do you belong to, Democrat or Republican? It's like
neither.
But I don't even think that's an option.
Yeah. No.
But here's why that's disingenuous. So if you don't give an option to opt out, what happens is most people will pick a lesser of two evils. Sound familiar? What?
Yeah, 2016 election.
Well, every election ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Obama
not
inherently
ever.
did not seem evil at all. So
I still don't think he was evil. And actually, I think he would have won.
Was it him and McCain who ran?
Yeah, the first in 2008.
And then who was
Which I would like to point out, John McCain kind of renewed my faith in humanity during that election, because during one of his campaign events, I don't want to call them rallies because Trump calls them rallies, and let's face it, they're not. Or a town hall. We'll call it a town hall and sound classy. There's a woman in the audience, and you can find this on YouTube. It's actually a really touching video. There's a woman who screams something, and then he's like, "What?" And then she says, "I don't trust Obama. He's a," I think she said he's a Muslim or something. And then he actually takes the time to correct and says, no. You know, Senator Obama is a very kind and, you know, wonderful man, and he's not a Muslim. He's not anti-American. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically he corrected, and he's like, I'm not going to stand for that nonsense.
Yeah, it's easy to say that you are one way. I don't have like I said, I can say all nice things about Obama, but like at the end of the day, how we are now, it's like, can we really blame that on Trump?
No, and my
I'm
issues.
getting way off subject. But
yeah, well, my only issues with Obama were that of policy. As a person, I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah, and
extremely presidential.
But the thing is, like Bernie, he's a good person too. But his policies are.
So Bernie.
Joe Rogan, when he had Bernie on the podcast, and Bernie, he's nice. He sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's my point.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not necessarily the things that you see; it's the things that are going on.
Do I think he as an individual is a bad person? No. I think it's hard. Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I don't really have anything, but this is, Obama. I don't have any problems with Obama. Just let me set this fact straight. It's just.
But we never did see that birth certificate. I'm kidding. We did see the birth
tinfoil
certificate.
hat. The thing is, a lot of people were saying that he was in touch with the reptilians. No, I'm just kidding.
What are you talking about? He was
shadow
a reptilian.
government. That we have supposedly. And that's been constantly trying to dethrone certain people. But anyway, what I'm getting at is. What is it? Rockefeller.
Rothschild,
also Soros.
Oh yeah.
These people that do they still own the what is it? Our gold. What is
Soros?
It? What the hell is it? What the fuck do you call that? It's for our federal notes.
The Federal Reserve? Or the Treasury?
What? I don't fucking know. Apparently,
because we haven't been on the gold standard since.
Supposedly, Trump bought that. I can't.
I don't think you can buy that.
I don't know what it is. Like whoever owns, I can't remember what it's called. I need someone to definitely fact check that one, and I can't remember what it is. I remember seeing something about it, and I can't find the right words right now. I cannot tell. Yeah, that's for certain. Lori Vance said, use raid on the moderator. And she also said, who would be our pick for a moderator?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan should have happened. Like, there's no...
Well, he was asked. I think he commented on his Instagram or his Twitter. He said he would do it on his show, but the conditions were it would be in a closed studio with no audience.
And that's the way it should be.
Well,
a fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you got people,
and I think he said he wanted a minimum of 3 hours, which I would totally watch.
Oh yeah, 3 hours. I mean, I've watched.
Well, but here's the
4-hour
crazy
podcasts
thing is there's no reason it can't happen. You just have to get, well, obviously Trump can't right now.
I
But
mean, they could just, unsanctioned, they could just
well, but
do it
here's the
themselves out
thing,
of
nobody.
good faith.
So the Commission on Presidential Debates only does the three or four. There's 4, right?
3. You have two
Two presidentials and then the VP. Okay, I can never remember. I always mess that up. But nobody's saying they can't debate elsewhere.
Exactly.
Well, because a couple years ago in 2016 they had a third party debate, which was fantastic to watch. It was fantastic to watch. And it was the, I know I'm going to mess this up, it was the Libertarians, the Green Party, the Justice Party, the Constitution Party, and there was one more, and I cannot remember who they were.
Did we say it earlier?
I don't think so. Constitution, Justice, yeah, I'm missing one. But I enjoyed that debate immensely. And everybody was civil, and nobody talked over each other, and they disagreed on a lot of things. It was something to see.
They need to, little flick of the switch. No more mic. Shut the fuck up.
I'm still saying I think the moderators should have the ability to cut the mic.
No. If they get a reasonable moderator.
True. Well, they need some. You know who else they should get? They should get Bas Rutten to do it.
Who?
Bas Rutten?
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, Bas Rutten. Probably maybe not, well, not today, obviously, but probably one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. But he'd be a hilarious moderator. But he'd get up there and be like, "You shut the fuck up right now. It's not your turn to talk."
Oh, is he Russian?
No, he's from, Holland.
Oh, Holland boy.
And I'm butchering his accent, but he's...
It's okay, we forgive you.
But he won't, and fuck, I want to keep my liver. He's famous for the liver shot.
Oh.
I feel like context was necessary.
Well, at first, I mean, you said Holland, and I was thinking Russia, whatnot. I figured he would, harvest your liver.
No, he'll just break it. Yeah, if you ever want to see some awesome fights, he got his start, well, not his start, but he first broke out big in Japan and Carreys, I believe it was, way back in the day, like early days of MMA and pre-UFC, if I'm not mistaken. Back in those days in Japan, it was bare knuckle and basically everything was allowed. And the thing I love about Bas Rutten is
it's starting to sound more familiar.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure if you saw him, you'd know. He almost never threw closed-handed strikes. They were always open.
Why was that?
He didn't want to break his knuckles.
I have no problem with that. I've got a couple broken knuckles.
You don't want to have a broken hand in a fight, though.
No. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So he was smacking bitches.
Well, and plus he's not smacking them. I mean, he would. I've seen some fights that were hilarious where he just walked up to a dude and just slapped him. It was hysterical. Almost knocked him out.
How big was he?
I knew you were gonna ask me. I mean, he's a bigger dude, but he's not huge.
Right. Okay.
But shit, he can hit like a fucking train.
Look at
Even today, and he's been retired for a long time, and even today, he's a beast.
A force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we're getting off topic.
Back to the lecture at hand.
I talked about that. I already said the moderator can't read a teleprompter for shit. I was impressed. I think Harris watched our podcast.
Oh.
Because I remember the last time I had that little pet peeve and I congratulated Trump on not going through that whole I'd like to thank the commission and the university and my dog.
She didn't.
She went right to the question. I was like,
Pence did.
Pence did it in the most obnoxious. But I gave Harris brownie points for that.
Yeah, because it's a debate. It's not a contest. I mean,
yeah,
it is a contest,
well,
but
it is, but I mean, to me, it seems like the citizens of the United States need to get better at picking up on pandering, because it's shamelessly obvious now. It's not like it was back in the day when it was at least kind of veiled. And now it's just like, how many dicks can I suck tonight?
Openly, and that's
Openly.
exactly what they say.
Openly. They don't even shut the door anymore. They're just like, come
Spit
on
or
in.
swallow? Which do you prefer?
Come on in. Everyone's welcome. And then Harris went into her first lie. I shouldn't say it's a lie. No, it's a lie. So she said that the Trump administration, and I actually had to fact check this because the only reason I looked this up was because of how she said it. I'm like, that sounds like a lie. So she said that the Trump administration was briefed by health experts that the virus was airborne on January 28th. And I was just like, that doesn't sound right. So I looked that shit up. On the World Health Organization's website, they have a timeline for COVID-19. The World Health Organization did not acknowledge that the virus was airborne until they reviewed a study that was presented. They basically acknowledged it on July 9th. Now, the earliest study that said the virus could be airborne, which was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, March 4th.
What do you know?
So, how exactly were they supposed to know it was airborne when the first study didn't even come out until March 4th? And that's when it was posted. That's when it was published in the journal, not the World Health Organization.
I'm not completely sure, but I feel like I can't remember what I heard it. Obviously, I'd have to double check, but I heard that while it is like airborne, it's not very contagious.
Compared to touch, that's my understanding. Particularly if you're outside.
Outside, yeah, and what is it? 6 feet inside, obviously.
That's kind of the.
Well, I mean, you got some people that they talk normally, and then you got people who will shower you. So obviously, stay away from those people. But
we're Americans too, damn it.
I thought this was America.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. We deserve to breathe as well, to speak as well. So that. And then she's talking too about how the Biden plan is going to be no cost for the vaccine. Well, Trump already said that. He pledged that it would be no cost. That was ages ago.
I'm going to touch on that. When she was saying, I'm not going to take that if Trump says to take it because it's not backed by scientists. It's like, who the fuck do you think is making the goddamn fucking vaccine? Trump and his fucking garage?
I thought Pence shined. I thought Pence was fantastic in his rebuttal of that. And he took her to task, and I liked that because I was thinking the same thing, and then his turn came, and he was like, "You need to stop that shit," and I'm like,
exactly.
I have no qualms with his answer whatsoever. I think it was civil enough, but he was like, I'm not going to stand for it, and frankly, the American people shouldn't stand for it.
Exactly.
Because you're undermining confidence. Now, if there's a reason to undermine confidence, then I'm all for it. Because let's remember, this is the same government that purposefully injected a bunch of people in the South with syphilis to see how quickly they would contract the virus.
And
but lied to them, by the way. Told them they were getting a vaccine for measles. I forget what they said. But they were told they were getting a vaccine. Turns out they gave them herpes.
Now, Agent Orange, was that...
That was a herbicide, though.
I know, but was that Vietnam?
Yeah, that was Vietnam.
Okay, I can remember if we actually... Because I remember somebody saying that they released that on our own soldiers.
They didn't release...
tests or something like that. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, I don't know about the testing. Well, I'm sure they did, because I know the hubbub with that was they knew it was toxic, but I don't think they understood how toxic it was, but I think that's just because they rushed it.
Kind of like the A-bombs, in the desert.
Oh, no, they knew what the fuck was going on with those.
Yeah, they're just sitting there, and the wind's blowing through their hair, and they're just like, this is awesome, and then a couple
Actually, I think... I cannot remember for the life of me what Robert Oppenheimer said, but something to the effect, he saw that bomb, and then he basically said, like, he regretted it.
Well, yeah,
immediately.
Because that's probably the scariest fucking thing that anyone's ever
that's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, it's like we, as like volatile creatures, we should have never ever, unless we were like peaceful. Like, and obviously that's not gonna work because it's not ingrained in our DNA. Anyway, so like we should never have been able to think of something like. I know it's like obviously it's gonna happen, but because we're creatures of war.
I don't even know if it's that. I think we're creatures of curiosity. We were already studying the atom.
I know, but still, it's
but
like,
then we figured out that holy shit, there's a lot of energy here.
So you split this thing and then add some chemicals and then voila, you kill. You know, what was a meme? It was saying something about North Korea, and it was saying that North Korea was like threatening us, and then it had Japan, and it was like, we blew up 2 boats and they unleashed the sun on us.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. And
I think I saw that one.
And honestly, obviously, that's, you know, it's a meme, people, so you can laugh, but it's, you know, it's not, it is still a serious thing. But obviously, you know, it was hilarious.
That's a funny meme.
Because the thing is, it said unleash the sun, and it showed a picture of Elmo with fire, or, you know.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Just like standing there.
But you know what? And
sorry, I keep kicking you.
Well, no, you didn't actually, but so I'm not glad you brought it up, but it's a point that I was actually thinking about not that long ago, because again, it always seems to come up. It's like, should the U.S. apologize for using?
That's a dog.
Should the U.S. apologize for their use of the atomic bomb? No. But it's complicated.
Yes.
But what you have to understand is we had just gotten through...
It went from...
Well, we just gotten through the Battle of Iwo Jima, which was bad enough. And then the Battle of Okinawa. And actually, the Battle of Okinawa made the U.S. government rethink their strategy for the invasion of Japan. Because the island hopping strategy, was working, but it was heavy losses. But they were justifiable. But Okinawa was just such a... The numbers are staggering. And they actually ran the predictions, and as odd as it may sound, based on their projections, the atomic bombs actually saved lives. If you're talking numerically.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, if we wouldn't have reacted so soon, then obviously the Japan would have, like, you know... And then other countries too that were on their sides. You know?
Well, they were getting ready. They were arming. They were, and this is documented. There's several wonderful documentaries you can watch on this. They were arming citizens with sticks, and they were telling them like, you're gonna stab people until they kill you. Literally, the Japanese government was telling citizens, kids.
They've come a long way from that.
Well.
Actually, what is Japan?
What do you mean?
What is their?
They're democratic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
It's pretty similar to ours. They've got 2, if I'm not mistaken, they've got 2 legislative bodies like ours, and they have a prime minister. They still have an emperor, but it's ceremonial.
Emperor Pilaf.
No, actually, it's God. What is his name? Starts with an A. Well, it doesn't start with an A, but.
You didn't watch Dragon Ball, no.
Oh no, I know who Pilaf is. I know who Pilaf is. I actually rewatched Dragon Ball not that long ago. It was
my favorite.
I mean like Dragon Ball, like the original.
Yeah, the original. No, that's what I mean.
So good. I'm rewatching Super now because the other day they finally put it on Hulu, and I hadn't watched the English dub in its entirety
They
yet.
have Super on Hulu?
Just like 2 days ago.
Okay, so you haven't watched all the Super dub yet?
No, not in English.
It's really good. Like
I'm noticing.
Hold on. I love the subs. I loved it. It was fantastic. Everything, you know, with it, the passion. But
it's a lot better than Z.
The English dub was really good too.
It is. It's a lot better than Z was in terms of acting.
Well, I mean that's what we grew up on though. So honestly.
Oh no, I get it, but sometimes I watch it now and I cringe.
The first 45 episodes was Ocean dub, and I loved it. Brian Drummond.
I loved a lot of it.
He is phenomenal.
And Scott McNeil as Piccolo was fantastic.
Yeah, because he wasn't just like, you know, Chris Sabat. The balls are inert.
Hit the dirt.
Hit the dirt. I just about dumped my mic on me.
I still say probably the best dubber of Piccolo is DBZ Abridged.
Any fans of DBZ? Because we are definitely one of these days going to have an entire podcast.
Yeah, one of these days you're going to actually watch DBZ Abridged and you'll join the club of cool kids.
I need to watch it. Anyway, let's get back.
Yeah.
I got off on a thing. All right.
Oh, okay. And then Harris's little comment about how, like, because they mishandled the crisis, they forfeited their right to re-election. Somebody needs to get her a dictionary and look up the word right, because you do not forfeit your right to re-election unless you're impeached. I mean...
She's something else.
You're a senator. Kamala, you're a senator.
And former...
Attorney General,
former
prosecutor. You should kind of know the law, particularly constitutional law.
You know, and I will say this, though. A lot of people keep speculating she slept her way to the top, and it's like, you don't sleep your way through law school.
I'd not heard that.
Well, a lot of people say that shit, and it's like...
Well, a lot of people say a lot of shit.
I've said stuff like that just out of spite, you know.
Yeah, I don't think she did.
A lot of people don't realize that when they say stuff like that, and they're high-profile individuals, that
it carries some steam.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's like, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. What is it?
Everything.
Believe half of what you see
and none of what you hear.
And 100% of what you research. Well, I'm gonna say about 50%.
It depends on your sources, but even like you can't even trust pictures and videos anymore because all this deep fake shit going on.
Yeah, it's a scary.
Like
scenario.
I mean, you can't trust a photograph anymore.
No.
Those
are not double D's. No. Those are obviously C's. Lying bitch.
Oh, God. So that actually inspired me, though, to crunch some numbers. Now, these numbers are different now, but as of last night, went to the old CDC website, and the mortality rate, according to the CDC's numbers, which are... The case number, I don't think, is all that disputable, but the mortality number is, in my opinion.
Yeah, because of all.
But let's give them the benefit. Let's say, because so as of yesterday, the number of confirmed cases was 7,528,313, and I know that's gone up because it's been a day. But as of last night, and then the CDC's mortality rate, well, not mortality rate, mortality number was 211,132.
It's a lot of numbers.
So that's basically it. I rounded down a smidge, but it was 2.801. So it's 2.8% mortality rate. Now, this is the problem with percentages. Because 2.8 sounds really low, but that's actually higher than the Spanish flu epidemic, which surprised me.
Which the Spanish flu was killing 20 to 40-year-old demographics.
Correct.
So,
but it was also a coronavirus. Not the same.
This is a thing, people. Just because you're COVID-19 and coronavirus, there are several strains.
Yeah, coronavirus is an umbrella term, which is why I stopped using the phrase coronavirus.
You just use COVID-19. You don't get it confused, because then you got people saying on the back of those face mask things, and then on the bleach bottles and stuff like that, and it says coronavirus. They're like, it has coronavirus in it. And it's like, you're stupid. It's okay though. I forgive you.
Yeah, but anyway, so 2.8% sounds really low, but then you have to remember, again, assuming this number is right, that's 211,000, and that's just in the United States. It's 211,000 people. That's a lot. Which is why I get really annoyed when people bring up percentages, because and this is an absurd example, but it makes sense. So the whole Trump tax thing, it's like he paid $750, and I raised the question, I was like, well, is that $750 a year or $750 for 2 years? Now, if I wanted to spin that in a positive way, like, again, let's assume for the sake of argument that that was all true, but that we found out that it was $750 each year. Well, if I want to spin that in a positive way for Trump, I say, well, the Democrats were wrong. You know, it was actually, it was the real number is a 50% increase from what they were saying.
Right.
Now, if you don't know the number, that sounds impressive. It's like, holy shit, they messed up by 50%? It's $750.
That's how easy it is to
That's
sway.
how easy it is to mess. That's why a lot of times, so anytime anybody ever says percentage without accompanying numbers, I'm always like,
Question.
well, not even question. I call bullshit because it's like, okay, why aren't you giving me the real numbers?
Yeah.
Because you're hiding something. You're using the percentage to sound, well, put it to you this way. It's like anytime they run a sale, it's like, oh, it's 30% off. Well, if you do the math, you're saving like $5.
Yeah.
But 30% sounds a lot better than $5 off.
Yeah, because bigger numbers.
Exactly. They'll go with the bigger numbers. So, like, for example, but you'll see the other side do this too. So, CNN has never reported the actual mortality rate in percentage. It's always hard numbers. Because the mortality rate sounds very unimpressive when you look at the percentage. But 211,000? That's a lot. So watch those percentages, because they will trick you. And everyone will trick you. All sides will try to trick you with percentages.
Yeah, that's just how they all operate. There's no denying that. It doesn't matter who you vote for, left, right, whatever. Actually,
call that bullshit.
There was actually something when Harris said that the Trump administration had fumbled how they handled COVID-19, and then she went on to say how Biden would have handled it. And Pence, when he lit into her and he was talking about it, he was talking about the swine flu in 2008, and he goes, they are lucky. They are 100% well, he didn't say, I'm paraphrasing. Anyway, so he said they were lucky that the swine flu was not as serious as, said.
Correct. It also wasn't nearly as
because
contagious.
How many? Well, that's not true. There were 60 million cases.
Correct, but as a virus, it's not even close to being as contagious as COVID-19 is.
Oh no, and that's the thing. That's exactly why he said they're lucky. It wasn't. As
they
dangerous.
Are lucky.
And the thing is, because they, like, I'm not an advocate for the shutdowns and whatnot. Like, if everyone would have just, and I hate face masks. I'm just gonna say it. But if everyone from the start, because you remember when they finally started asking everyone to start wearing face masks, 5 months into a pandemic.
Well, because they didn't have any.
Yeah, because Fauci lied. But,
well, Fauci lied to cover up the fact that they didn't have any.
Exactly. And just going to point this out, I don't know if this is 100% true. You might be able to...
Maybe, I don't know.
crush my soul. But, so the PPE was actually... Everything was low.
Pretty damn depleted.
Was depleted when Trump and... Fuckface took over office.
Trump and Flyface.
The fly. Anyway, so obviously they were depleted on that, and so that's true. But
you know what, though? I'm not batting for the Obama administration here, but I am kind of throwing some shade at the Trump administration, because it's like, okay, you took office in 2017, early 2017. You knew the stockpile was depleted.
Why didn't you get on it?
Exactly.
Right?
Why?
Exactly. I mean, I was actually going to...
So you can only blame the Obama administration so much, and this is a perfect moment to illustrate how we are not necessarily pro-Trump on this podcast. That was one... Somebody did say, it's like, it sounds like you're pro-Trump. I'm like, I usually end up defending the current president, because the sitting president always gets so much shit thrown their way. And a lot of it is nonsense.
And halftime is impossible to deal with. And they just have to fucking do their best.
Yep.
And that's the thing about all this is I mean, you can sway whichever way. It doesn't matter. But, I mean, at the end of the day, policy over personality. I mean, everyone needs to get that out of their damn head and quit thinking that, just because they're a great guy doesn't mean they're going to have the best policy.
And if they're a buffoon with no off switch, does not necessarily mean their policy is bad. I don't give credit to Donald Trump. I give credit to the Donald Trump administration.
Exactly, because the thing is, if there's one thing that his time in TV and business whatnot has taught us, is that he's very good at putting people in spots, and they do well.
Well, he's also very good at distracting.
Well, yeah.
And
look over here.
No, anybody who thinks... So, again, I brought this up last time, but this is going to sound really, really weird to most people, but there is a point. Trump is a student of pro wrestling psychology. He's playing a character.
I guarantee it.
Now, that character does not necessarily always have to be well received.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is a classic wrestling heel. Classic. And any wrestling fans out there are going, mm-hmm. Because what do the best wrestling heels do? They get people pissed off, and they don't give a fuck. The more angry you make the audience, the more you've done your job.
While I do agree with that, I believe that it's all like WWE.
Oh, speaking of heels.
All of them, though, they act like that, you know?
What do you mean?
They get people riled up.
That's their job.
And the thing is, it's like, that's not a good way to govern.
No, it's not a good way to govern at all. But Trump's an entertainer. Well, and it depends on what you mean by govern. If you're talking about just governing, no, it's not a good way. If you're talking about distracting, if you're talking about red herring in government, it's perfect. And again, it's not good, but it's effective.
Right.
So, if you're wanting to get a questionable piece of legislation passed, and you know what the climate is, well, all you have to do is say something that could be misconstrued as racist if you're Trump. And then now everybody's talking about that. And meanwhile, you get a bunch of judges appointed and tax cuts passed and all this stuff that's kind of like not on the news. And lo and behold, and again, okay, you call Trump a racist? He doesn't care.
No. Because
if you attack somebody for something they say, they have to care. And Trump doesn't care. So
he's got to have thick skin because he gets called out on a daily basis. So
well, it's not even thick skin. It's just like, okay, like if you were to, this is an absurd example, but that's not even a good example. Like if you were to, let me think here. Like if you were to call me a fat slob.
You fat slob.
Exactly. Like what? Like, but do I really boy, does my ego have to be in shambles for me to take that seriously.
Some people, man,
but some people's ego is in shambles.
Yeah, that's true. We know one. We're not gonna mention any names. Anyway, so yeah, no, I agree with that.
Oh, you go ahead.
Kamala Harris ethnicity. Is she black?
Or
is she Indian?
Her mother immigrated from India, and her father was from, oh God, and I looked this up, somewhere in the Caribbean. But basically, yes, he's of African descent, okay. Afro-Caribbean.
All right, so.
So, but I thought of a really funny.
So you and my daughter's hand in marriage for 4 cows.
That was racist.
I apologize for that publicly.
That was racist.
What? No,
funny as hell.
That's a movie, by the way, if you don't remember.
Oh, what movie was that?
Without a Paddle.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that in so long.
That's such a good movie. Seth Green,
so have you?
Lillard.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm
Jack
familiar.
Shepherd.
The Deliverance jokes are fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen the movie The Big Sick?
I've not.
It's very good. Come. I forget the guy's name. Come. No, he's a comedian. He's hysterical, and I cannot. He's a Pakistani comedian. He's very, very big. I just cannot remember for the life of me what his name is. But anyway, there's a fantastic joke in it, and it caught me off guard. But basically, I don't want to ruin the movie, but I won't ruin this joke for you. But so basically, he's dating this girl who's white, but they're kind of dating. She ends up in the hospital, and he's in the waiting room with her dad. And, the dad doesn't like him, because they've just met. They just met when she got in the hospital. So then, her dad just, is like, so what do you think about 9/11? And then no, that's not the best part. The best part is he's like, oh, it was a tragedy. We lost some of our best guys. And I was just like, oh my God.
Hey, you're gonna ask a loaded question like that, I'm gonna fuck you up with it.
But he's like, no, that was a joke, because he's a comedian in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's not inappropriate. He's a comedian.
excellent.
That's such a funny joke.
We lost a couple good people.
No, actually, I think he names the number. He's like, we lost 12 of our best guys.
Oh my gosh.
That is like that, and that's an example of. So I have this belief that whether it's a joke or content, whatever it is, like something can be incredibly gory or incredibly sexual or incredibly inappropriate, but as long as it serves the story or is actually funny, it's forgivable.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's when it's not funny or it doesn't serve. Like, that's why I can't get into Game of Thrones to this day.
Never could watch it.
Here's my beef with it. So I'm just gonna say it. It's crude as hell. But so like everybody was all. It was very popular in its first 2 seasons, but I've had people who are fans of the show tell me the first 2 seasons suck. Well, I'm sorry, but if it takes 3 seasons to get me into a show,
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't. That's too long. But then I figured out it's like, oh, but it's on HBO, so there's sex and basically there's boobs. Boobs does not a 2-season television show make. That's not enough to carry. And I mean, frankly, if I want to see boobs, there's the internet.
Just saying.
You don't need Skinamax anymore. No. And you haven't for some time.
You don't have to worry about like trying to look through like the crazy stuff on the screen where it's all scrambled.
So you shared that meme. You shared that meme the other day that made me just guffaw laughing.
Oh my god. Adolescence.
Just analog television.
Oh my gosh. Miss it.
I don't at all.
I love technology nowadays. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But everything was so simple then.
It was simpler.
It was a different world. Like
it was, and I've always said we probably, our generation is probably one of the luckiest because we experienced life before the internet.
Yes.
Like, and not even broadband. Like, we experienced life before the internet.
For any of you technical people, the what is it? The World Wide Web. The internet has been around since.
Good, valid point.
Early 50s.
Valid point. The widespread use of the internet, absolutely. Being available in your home.
Yes, and it was crazy. I remember logging on to it.
Dude.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell? I was like, you can look up anything?
Took 20 minutes to. Remember when we used to look? We used to go to those MIDI sites. Because video was out of the question.
MIDI was you listening to like freaking music and.
Or we listened to Japanese dubs of the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT.
Oh yeah. Do you remember this? Well, I remember a certain video. It was a I want to say a tribute to Vegeta fighting Majin Buu, and it had like this crazy like song to it, and it was really good. Or maybe it was In the End by Linkin Park.
Oh, the first AMV I ever saw was a Linkin Park video too. It was a Trunks tribute. It was I forget the name of the song now, but anyway.
It was good. Anyway, so once again.
Yeah.
Sidetrack.
So back to the whole like Trump administration being shit on for COVID. I thought to myself, I said, I wonder if at any point was he criticized, like in the press, for the travel ban. Well, it didn't take long.
He was racist for it, don't you remember?
Well, New York Times. This one didn't really touch on the racism, but it was an article from the New York Times. I think it was like the day after or like a couple days after he restricted travel.
January 28th.
First of all, I would like to point out, he restricted travel. Pence said 5. The article said 7. 5 to 7 confirmed cases in the United States, and Trump banned travel. Or closed travel. I shouldn't say banned.
Yeah. But to me, that sounds like a very good decision because obviously.
Well, in hindsight, yes. At the time, the New York Times.
He went against everybody, like a
a
lot of officials, and they were like, "This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea."
It's not necessary. Told repeatedly, it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
This is my point of whoever's in the White House or any elected official. Praise for good.
Shit on for bad.
Condemn for bad. It's not that hard. Everybody's got to be all, nope, it's him. I hate him.
Well, it's like
everything he does is bad, and it's like,
well, it's like Ben Shapiro said. It's like when Trump does something good, I cheer, and when he does something bad, I boo.
Oh, I love it because he.
Sometimes Trump.
His post when he says "Good Trump."
Good Trump. I love that. That is so funny.
Like, good boy. Good boy. You did something smart.
Ben is...
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of Ben. He's gotten in touch with his comedic side a lot more.
He's really good.
He's very
I didn't
good.
think he was not that funny because I remember.
No, before he used to be so
rigid.
And now he's like I think maybe Joe Rogan rubbed off on
the Boy Scouts.
I think Joe that's such a funny video though. In the name. But see, he's funny in that one too. It's just a dry humor.
Yeah.
Like Ben is actually quite sophisticated when he's funny though. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
He wasn't born in California. He was born in Canada. Just kidding.
I was gonna say no. He wasn't.
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian. God. Have you? I told you about it, but I don't think you've watched it yet. The Ben Shapiro WAP remix.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
Holy shit!
Wet ass p word. Wicka wet ass p word. It was fantastic.
They make a beat out of him saying, "There's some whores in this house."
Some whores in this house.
There's some whores in this house. But it
progressively gets worse from there.
But I love it because they don't just loop the one time he says, because he says it 3 different times.
Yeah, no, they did all 3.
They made a beat out of it. It's so damn funny.
Some whores in this house.
There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. But the best part was I found out about that video because Ben mentioned it on his show.
Oh, he did?
He was making a joke. He was like,
I was wondering if he watched it.
He was like, I don't religiously, but I watch a lot of his clips on YouTube because his show is long.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like Joe's, you know.
Yeah, but Joe's is different. And Ben's show is him basically just talking to a camera.
Yeah, and then he goes into...
Kind of like what we're doing right here.
And this is Ovaltine, kids, and you buy this and drink this.
I do watch some of his Sunday specials, though, and I laugh every time.
I
love them, though.
He breaks into them.
They're so funny.
He'll just be straight having a conversation, like, oh, yeah, you're drinking that cup out of that straw. Oh, yeah, by the way,
we're going to talk about...
water tastes really good out of a straw.
We're going to talk about this in a second, but first... But he has fun with it.
Yeah.
I love it, because he's like...
Really good at it.
It's like, now I have to sell things.
Sponsors? No.
But yeah, so the New York Times repeatedly talks about the stock market in this article and the risk that it poses to the economy. And I'm going to get into that here in a second. But first, if you have pests in your home or in your hair, buy Raid. But don't spray it in your face because this shit will fuck you up.
Spray it on the moderator.
From SC Johnson, a family company. So I'm not going to go into it more. If you want to read the article, you can. I am going to. So that was it. But the article, it was comical to read.
It was source for it again.
It was just New York Times, and I believe the article was Trump restricted travel to China. But yeah, I mean, all you have to do is Google Trump.
I was just trying to.
Oh no, you're good. No, I do. If anybody ever wants me to give a source, I'm happy to do so. Someone is talking a lot, and we are not paying attention to you.
If we gather... Alright, I'm going to read up a few because I'll pay to watch him smack around some politicians. She was talking about your wrestler.
Bas Rutten?
Yeah, Bas Rutten. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Probably. By the way, he's in a movie with Kevin James called Here Comes the Boom, and he is hysterically funny in it.
I've never... I have not... I don't like Kevin James.
I love Kevin James.
I don't like him.
I think Kevin James is hilarious.
I just don't know what it is about him. Like, I liked him in what was that show? King of Queens.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic.
He's hilarious
in
that show.
Because like I don't know what it was about his wife. You know, smokes 30 packs.
Is that Leah Remini?
Yeah. No. Is that? Yeah. Leah Remini. That's right. Yeah.
She was on Joe Rogan's podcast and she was talking about Scientology.
Oh my god.
That shit will hurt your brain.
Was she?
Yeah.
Is she still in it?
No, not anymore.
Okay. So,
no, she was behind. I don't think she was. I think she's somehow involved with the Going Clear documentary and series that they did on Scientology.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Yeah. We're very good at segueing.
So, just see, this is how easy it is. When the moderator was like, and talking to Pence, she's like, and that is a perfect segue into this next thing.
He did segue well.
Yeah, he's because he's good at doing that. At minus the flying hair. Anyway, so Japan's current culture of cute has a lot to do with their actions in China.
Culture of what now?
Cute.
Cute, as in C-U-T-E?
Yes. I'm not sure.
Like we talking kawaii or? Well, that's Japanese for cute, but it's
And
like
then-
a
And then
subculture.
she said, if we gather all the Dragon Balls, can we spend our wish asking for better candidates? That would.
Talk about a wasted wish.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If I was.
But
able to
Dragon Ball
wish-
already has the perfect leader. The Emperor of the World is a dog.
Yes, because you know why?
Which
He's
DBZ.
such a good boy.
Well, DBZ Abridged does some phenomenal jokes.
I got.
Because like I think there's this one bit where it's like I don't know, man. Because Yamcha's like complaining. He's like I don't know, man. The world, the world leader's a dog, and then Tien goes, I think that's progressive.
Tien,
Yeah. Oh, Tien is hilarious in DBZ Abridged.
because he is not funny.
Dude,
Why
actually,
did the chicken cross the road?
there's this hilarious bit that they do. Remember in DBZ when Trunks and fights Perfect Cell for the first time and he shows his secret power up that Vegeta doesn't know about?
Mm-hmm. See, secret power up. You mean?
Yeah.
I can.
Oh, Cell does a hilarious thing. He's like, see, anybody can do that for him. Hey, Dad, please love me. See, anybody can do it. he's like, that's not a very good impression. And then 16's off screen and goes, but not inaccurate. But anyway, the joke is like Trunks says his power up and Tien's at the lookout. And he's like, you mean Trunks had that form and he could have used it to kill Cell before? He could have A, killed Cell, B, killed the androids, or C, killed Vegeta. And Bulma's like, why Vegeta? It's because I deserve something today. He and Vegeta have this wonderful back and forth. Because he's always like trying to piss Vegeta off. And like the running gag with the pink shirt, he's like, nice shirt. It is too funny.
If you like it so much, you can wear it, tough guy.
Oh, they have a fantastic time with that. For one thing, they keep changing what's written on it, and they're all like super just
Bad
inappropriate.
man, something else. I'm gonna have to just break down. It's
Yeah,
not
you
that I
need-
haven't tried to watch it, and it's not that I don't like it. I get stuck on other shows.
I know how that is. I've tried to rewatch it because I always pick up on jokes that I didn't get.
I'm gonna go off on something else, but Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. Have you watched that?
Mm-mm.
It's fantastic.
I love Ricky Gervais.
It's a
His-
phenomenal show.
I cannot give enough accolades for his performance at the Golden Globes.
Amazing.
He said, "Shut up, I don't care."
Shut up! I don't.
He's like,
care.
"I know you all as friends."
Yeah, he's like, oh, you got on the same plane.
It's like, wow,
Um,
balls.
that show though, like you should really give that a chance.
Afterlife.
It's not like
I've heard of it. I
it's
just
not
haven't
like
seen it.
about the afterlife or anything like that. His wife has cancer and then she dies and she leaves these series of tapes for him to go on because he's a useless cunt. And he so anyway,
So it's P.S. I Love You with British humor.
I've never seen P.S. I Love You, but I like Ricky Gervais, so I gave it a watch and it was
It's not
very
terrible.
good. There's a his nephew goes to obviously a school and I want to say Britain, they have like, the schoolyards are like close to walking
Yeah.
paths and whatnot, and you can talk to the kids. But anyway, so he's talking to his nephew and he's like, oh hi, blah, blah, blah. And then this kid's like, pedo, and he's a fat little boy. And Ricky Gervais, he has a hammer, and the reason he has a hammer is because I don't know what happened. For some reason, he had a hammer, and it was just coincidence he had it. And he goes, you know what, you fat little cunt. He goes, if I, and I'm not doing this, I'm butchering it, but he says, if I was a pedo, you think I'd want to? He's like, you think I'd like a fat little cunt like you? And he goes, you ever say? And he was picking on his nephew, and he had pulled out the hammer. He goes, you ever pick on him again, I'll bash your head in with this thing.
That is such a Ricky Gervais line.
But then he ends up finding out that the kid has a lot of troubles at home, and I think his dad died, or like his dad left, or something like that.
That's usually the
He
case,
ends
though.
up buying the kid a bike, and him and his nephew become friends. Now I'm not gonna give away too much more because that's already too much. But
That's pretty cool,
it's
though.
a damn good show.
It's pretty cool, though.
Ricky Gervais, you can hit me up in the inbox and pay me. You just got one more viewer.
Oh, we did?
No, Ricky Gervais.
Oh. These fucking cunts are really
No,
fucking stupid.
we have 3 concurrent viewers at the moment, and 1 like, and our average watch time is 26 minutes.
41 seconds. It just jumped.
It did.
That's insane.
At one point, we had 5.
I know.
That's incredible.
You're all weak.
We know nobody on the internet. We are new. I'm new. I don't know what to do. We literally just started this just because we wanted to chat.
Because we always just talk about this stuff.
And why not put it on the internet?
Yeah, because
the internet is forever. Scary.
Sorry, I was gonna do an OnlyFans, but
I have one. No,
we should make an OnlyFans profile, but then only put these videos on there.
You're gonna pay for podcasts, and then put like provocative titles and just be like.
It's like we go hard in this one.
Oh my god, they pay for it. Like,
just what? a troll OnlyFans account. That would
Damn it! I think we got a good idea with this. I think we're.
Well, OnlyFans started as a, I believe it was for, I want to say it was for music, but I know it was at least for like art. It was kind of like Patreon.
Oh yeah.
It was originally conceived as a place for artists, musical artists, to be able to basically get patrons. And then
porn took over once again.
Well,
the internet used to be wholesome, and then porn took over.
When?
Back before.
The internet is as good as it is because of porn.
That's probably.
It was a driving, and this is indisputable. It was a driving force for high-speed internet.
Streaming porn.
I mean, video technology was insufficient for the porn industry to make the leap into the internet, and there was a lot of investment. Anyway, we got way off track. I got a question for you.
OnlyFans. Anyway, it's Eric the Great 87 on Twitch.
Oh, on Twitch. I was like, oh damn, you made that fast.
That's my gaming channel.
You think Pence should have been in charge of that task force, the COVID task force?
I thought he was.
He is. Do you think he should have been?
Well, I mean, considering, the only thing I can contribute to how everything went down, I want to say the best thing was the travel ban.
I agree with that.
Other than that, I'm gonna kind of go on the Democrat side and say it's kind of been a little bit of a train wreck. Because
I agree. I don't think Pence had any business being.
No, and honestly, it's. I can't necessarily blame him.
I'm not blaming him.
Right.
I'm saying you can't expect him to do anything because he doesn't know anything about.
For one, a virologist studying a new virus, they don't even know yet.
Well,
They don't understand its habits and everything completely. It's still pretty new. I mean.
Yeah, and I definitely think that particularly the left is not and I know it's hard because people are literally dying, but you can't. It's not something you can wave a magic wand and make it go away, because even if the vaccine came out today,
you're still gonna have deaths.
It would still be months before
it takes effect.
It takes just an absurdly long amount of time. But it's a logistical issue.
Getting back to that is like this one size fits all mentality. Like our small town right now, we don't need any restrictions because for one, everybody doesn't live on top of each other like Italy, like New York. Obviously Italy is not in the United States. I'm not an idiot. I'm of average intelligence. Anyway, so what I mean is
our mascot's a chimp in a suit. We set the bar pretty low.
And also a fly on Pence's head, which is fantastic. Anyway, so the one size fits all mentality. It's like Marion County, like they're 50% back now.
As far as off their lockdowns?
Yeah, and it's like I can understand that. It's a big city.
Except I had an issue when they extended their lockdown because.
Did that affect you? Your business?
In what sense?
Well, Fishers is not. Okay.
Fishers is not Marion County.
No, it's.
But of course it affected all the surrounding counties, because if you live in Marion County and you want to go eat at a restaurant, I mean, Marion County's not that big. Fuck it, go up to Carmel. And they did.
Do they have a Republican or a Democratic mayor?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I don't know that at all.
Hold on, I'll find out.
Anyway, so a one-size-fits-all approach does not work because, what was it, North Dakota didn't shut down at all?
Yep.
and
We're gonna hunker down. We're gonna.
A couple deaths. You know, I don't know how many deaths. Not
Oh, he's a Democrat. Shocker.
Wow. Well, that's like the mayor of this town is a Democrat. What's his name? Tom DeBon.
Yeah.
He did not advocate for a mask mandate.
Was he a prosecutor?
No, he's.
I'm trying to remember where I heard that name.
I'm pretty sure he was an elected official, like as long as I can remember.
I'm trying to remember because I've heard his name before, like prior to him being the mayor. But
possibly, I don't know I know for a fact. I just I'm going off hearsay, so I can't really necessarily say
Joe
exactly about him. Joe Cocker.
No, Joe Hogsett.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so the mayor of Indianapolis is a Democrat.
Yeah, and
shocker.
Yeah, exactly. With did they you know if they defunded the police?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Yeah.
That would have been right fucking stupid.
I think that's about the dumbest movement. I apologize to anyone who thinks that's a good movement, but like reform is necessary.
Well, you gotta love how the Democrats, when they're questioned about that, Joe Biden did it in the last debate. It's like, listen, we're not gonna, actually defund the police. It's like, then stop saying it.
Exactly, because
listen, and this happens almost every time because not that I've seen, except AOC probably hasn't said this, but any Democrat of standing when asked about that goes, listen, we're not actually going to defund the police, but we're going to, we're going to get more training and we're going to get more equipment. And we're going to do this, which are all good things, but they require funding, more funding.
What do you know? It's like, what was it? I cannot remember what city, but they barred chokeholds.
I don't remember what city, which again, this is coming up later. That is an incredibly not smart thing to do.
No, because for one, how are they going to subdue them? What were they going to lay still, please?
Well, and I love how Harris says we're going to ban chokeholds and carotid holds. It's like, carotid hold, chokehold. Okay. You've clearly never rolled with anyone in jiu-jitsu class.
She doesn't understand.
No, she doesn't. Well, and you can tell, though, because, again, she's like, generally speaking, you can tell when someone says something and they have no idea what they're talking about. I've been in a carotid hold. It's not fun, but it's very fast.
It's very fast, and it gets the point across. You're like, ow, stop, please. This hurts.
It's like, you will be out. If they're doing it right, you'll be out very quick.
All right. Oh. We have a friend.
Oh, yeah, he's been here the whole time.
Holy shit.
You can't see. There's a jumping spider about their ski. Yeah, oh, he's fine.
Just hanging out. I don't like spiders.
Oh, I know, but he can't bite you if he wanted to. He's got little fangs.
Back to the raid. It's for house and garden. It kills spiders, flies. It has no lingering chemical odor and is indoor and outdoor, and it will not harm your plants.
Indoor and outdoor?
Indoor and outdoor. That is a serious
problem. That is just amazing. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go buy some Raid right now.
And I'm going to drive you there.
Oh, God. You think they're going to pay us for that?
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I don't think it's good enough, though.
Johnson, come on, man.
SC Johnson, come on. My family needs some of that family company money. Pension outlets. And I've said from day one, testing is key to beating the virus. Mm-hmm. Because I made this point when they were coming up with all these nonsensical guidelines, and it's like, okay, none of this matters if no one's sick. Because you can have a group of 2 people. Like, for example, if you had COVID, by now I'd have COVID. Mm-hmm. Or you can have a room of 2,000 people, and if nobody has COVID, guess what? Nobody's going to get COVID. It's not this magical thing that... But you are really nervous about that spider.
I turned just...
Where'd it go?
He's underneath the hat.
Is he?
Yeah.
He likes conspiracies. Hey, little buddy.
He has a conspiracy. I feel like he's going to bite you and you're going to become Spider-Man.
He's not... If only.
be amazing. But you're not gonna be like the cool Spider-Man. You're gonna be this hairy, ugly Spider-Man off the 1994 cartoon that turns into the big ugly spider.
Man spider.
Fuck that dude. You're scary as shit.
So testing is. I also wanted to give Trump credit for not enforcing, because they did pass the law, and he would have had every right, or not every right, but he would have had the ability to go in and mandate factories produce PPE, and he didn't do it. He was able to convince them to do it of their own accord, and he would have. It's an emergency power.
Elon Musk produced some.
Yeah, no, but they did that willingly.
Yeah, but and they were also Elon was shit on for it because they said, oh, they're not ventilators, and it's like it is the exact same thing. It's just
the exact
cost
same thing.
Productive.
Yep.
Or yeah, it's cost productive. So
and like, we can make them faster.
And it was like, come on, like you can't please them. Anyway, back to the.
So these are all just quick points. And then Harris was talking about how, well, he didn't want to induce a panic. First of all, that was a really weak appeal to emotion when she was going through. And it's like, well, people were panicking. This was your food line comment from earlier. Oh, it's like, when your parents were dying and this and that. And it's like,
we know.
It's a cheap trick, but unfortunately, I see why it's effective, but it is a cheap trick.
Appeal to emotion, it's always going to be effective.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's again, you can tug on somebody's heartstrings. It's a lot more effective than being like, well, actually, if you look at it from a policy standpoint, it actually saved more lives doing it this way. But, and this makes sense, if you lost your mother to COVID, or anyone, no amount of policy argument is going to make it better for you because you have that emotional weight to it. So it totally makes sense.
And yeah, that was
It was weak. An appeal to emotion is a weak strategy, but sometimes it's effective. But I will say, not wanting the public to panic is valid.
Yeah,
it's happened many times.
I mean, I can't think of.
Could you imagine if Pearl Harbor happened today?
There'd be mass hysteria.
Oh, mass hysteria.
We wouldn't. There'd be people like looting, robbing, and doing all. I mean, obviously, look at the.
And that was a military target. Well, no, you know what? I take that back because September 11th.
That was a different story.
It was, but we didn't know what the hell was going on at the time.
It was so quiet for a while, but then it was just like, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, but the country, man, they came together like
never before.
Any other time,
Well, since Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, and it's like that was, and everyone thought that George Floyd, the entire country was going to come together, and it was like. That's not an attack on.
That's not an attack on
the
country.
To our soil. That was a fucked up situation in which there was all kinds of variables. Like they have new evidence and it showed him sitting in the car before he was taken out.
Yeah.
And he ate a big amount of fentanyl. I don't know if you watched the video.
No, I've not seen that.
It showed it, and he literally has it, and he's just like.
Well, it was in his system. We know that it was in his system.
To kill him.
But we also know that the cop, and I don't want to get too into this because it's.
They worked together.
Previously, and they did not.
They didn't get along
at all.
But the thing is, though, I think that was. I feel like the cop was set up because they may have not got along.
Oh, he was
previously. But
set up is hard to say, but again,
I don't mean the cop being set up. I'm talking like this was a ploy for. I hate to say it like this. That damn spider.
Is it in the hat?
Is it in the hat? I need the hat, spider.
It's gonna come down.
It's in there, dude. It's chilling. Look.
What up, dude?
You gotta get out of there, man. I need my hat. Get it out of there, Boner. I don't do spiders. I'm 6'2", 250 pounds, and I don't do spiders. Spider-Man, please leave the scene.
Man, he's in there. It's his now.
I can't put it on.
Okay, well.
All right.
Put on a metaphorical.
So, what are we talking about? I got scared from the spider.
Shit. I'm totally lost.
Read a point.
Oh, you were talking about George Floyd, but...
George Floyd. Anyway, I think George Floyd, and, obviously, the dude died. Obviously that's not a good thing, but anyway, he had enough fentanyl in his system to kill him. And the thing is, fentanyl causes.
Yeah, we know he tested positive for
Yeah.
fentanyl in the
Anyway,
toxicology
so
report.
the reason I say setup is it was a perfect setup to push for chaos, and it was gonna, obviously the chaos that's going on and whatnot,
It was opportunistic.
Yes. Now
for
the thing
sure.
is, it was not it was not meant for the Trump campaign. It was meant for the Democratic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because this is for them to push for.
Well, it's been the same.
Yeah.
It's any time, and again, these cases shouldn't be happening, but you cannot deny every time one happens, the left jumps right on it before they have all the information. Because I'm not even going to go into that, but it's very similar to the Rosa Parks incident. A lot of people don't know this. I say staged.
I'm not gonna say it.
More like reenacted. The Rosa Parks thing was a stunt because it had happened to another girl before, but she wasn't, and I forget her name. But I believe she was like 15 and had a kid, so she wasn't like. They needed somebody squeaky clean to make that high profile.
Oh.
And Rosa Parks was picked by which again, good thing that it happened. But they made that because it happened before, and they basically recreated the situation to push, which was ultimately a good agenda.
She said it's a spider's hat now.
Yeah, it's his. It's totally his.
Damn spider.
Or hers.
Or her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
You talked about H1N1 before.
Yes.
I looked up the timeline from the CDC. Part of it's kind of impressive because the first human case in the U.S., which was in California, was April 15th of 2009. By late December, they had a distributed vaccine that was widely available to anybody that wanted it.
When did you say the first case was?
April 15th.
April 15th. So what's that timeline months-wise? 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so 7 months.
But I would like to remind everyone that the Democrats are saying that it's impossible to have a vaccine widely distributed by the end of this year.
I don't even remember an H1N1 vaccine.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, but again, okay, so there's 3 factors here. One, it was a sitting Democratic president who it was in the news, but not even close to COVID. They lucked out because they had a disease that was serious and atypical because it was affecting younger people and not so much older people, which was weird.
Because it was more of a natural flu.
It just one of the strength. But again, most flus affect the super young and the super old. Mm-hmm. This one wasn't disproportionately affecting older people. It was mostly affecting younger people, which made it a little weird.
That's like the pandemic in 1918.
That was affecting everybody.
Well, the biggest group was 20 to 40-year-olds.
Yeah. So, but again, and that's a coronavirus, not an influenza virus.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's wild.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. However, I would also like to point out, during that time, there were no shutdowns, no restrictions, certainly no masks. And again, it was just kind of, people were following it, but it wasn't, H1N1, after the initial outbreak, might have been on the news, just kind of casually mentioned.
Very casual.
Yeah, but there are whole news cycles about COVID.
I didn't even know what H1N1 was in 2009 and I didn't watch the news, but it was I don't know, it's a different ballgame now. And don't get me wrong, obviously, I think there was 7,500 deaths from H1N1, around that, maybe more.
I think
it wasn't very many compared
to yeah.
This.
I think it was about 7,500.
So obviously, as what we said, earlier, is it's not as lethal as this virus.
Well, I think H1N1 was more lethal, but it wasn't nearly as contagious.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. And that's the thing. If it would have had a...
Because I think H1N1 had about the same mortality rate as the regular flu. It might have been a little bit higher.
And, how many people die yearly of the flu, even though we have a vaccine?
Well, that's
The
a little.
vaccine only covers like a couple
Well,
strains,
and that
and
whole
there's so
well,
many
and that whole
strains.
thing, that nonsense mutates all the time.
Yeah. So
Like
it's like,
basically you basically have a new strain every year, so
yeah.
that's hard to.
I don't think I've ever gotten a flu shot.
I haven't gotten a flu shot just because I believe a vaccine you should only have to get it once.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you have to get it more than once, then it's not a vaccine.
Yeah, and I love it when they try to call it a cure, but it's like it's not a cure if you still have
No, it's
symptoms
not a
getting it.
cure,
It's
and a vaccine is a cure. Now I get it. In this case, the virus mutates, but
and it happens. It's like if COVID 19, while it is serious, if it were to mutate into a stronger form,
mhm.
we you guys
That
you
would be
guys
a whole.
you guys think what's happened now,
That would
but
be a whole new world of shit.
yeah, we would probably see a population of less than a billion.
I mean, think about Black Death.
Yeah, it would probably that would pale in comparison to this, and
Ooh,
that's
I don't know.
I know.
That was pretty rough.
But the thing is, you got to think at the time of the Black Plague,
They didn't know what the fuck was
well,
going on.
the population of the Earth was extremely less than what we have now. It was only like
Yeah,
I want to say
but
I don't know if this is true. I want to say 800 million.
oh god, I wouldn't even know.
Because the thing, I remember, yeah, it's like how the hell do you know populations from freaking eight or
Yeah, because census if they were even
century.
taken, they
14th
weren't.
century, 13th.
God damn it, I don't remember.
What was the? Have you ever seen the movie? What is that movie? Ricky Gervais is in it. No one, everyone tells the absolute truth.
No, I don't think so.
Dude, if you've never seen this movie, it's phenomenal. And what is it called? What is it called? Maybe someone. What is that movie called?
Huh.
What?
I'm learning some shit.
Learn us.
Oh, so there was actually an outbreak of bubonic plague before the Black Death. And this one,
Oh, really?
yeah, this one actually infected the Byzantine Emperor Justinian. It was actually called the Plague of Justinian, but he actually lived. Crazy. He lived.
Probably because he was able to stay clean. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why the Black Plague was so deadly.
Well, yeah, but
Was
this was in the
everyone
6th
was
century, and it killed 25 to 50 million people.
Man,
See, that is some shit.
the invention of lying.
The invention of lying?
That's the movie.
Oh, okay. The one in the late Middle Ages is 14th century.
So we're
No.
going from the 4th century to the 14th.
Yeah. No, 6th century to the 14th.
6th century to the 14th century. So that's a big gap. So
Yeah.
obviously it was around still, but it mutated completely to the point to where it was.
Well, I think this one is
because it wiped out a third of the population of the Earth.
Yeah, I think this one is mostly to blame because the Silk Road trade route opened back up around that time. Because the Mongols had shut it down, but they opened that sucker back up. Anyway,
The Mongoloids.
Mongols. Talk about some fucking shit, man. The Mongols were just a whole nother. Anyway, where were we?
Currently, United States.
Tomorrow, who knows?
Let me use my man voice now.
Oh yes, our NPR voices. Harris brought up the tax nonsense again. Like again, that's unsubstantiated. It's probably accurate to a point, meaning he probably paid way less than he should have, but it was all legal because of existing tax exemptions and loopholes and.
I mean, you can't get mad at somebody if the
No,
if
change
the
the
law
system.
exists.
If you're just do a flat tax.
How's the saying go? Don't hate the player,
Hate the game.
There you go. Game's rigged, people.
And I love how she said Biden's been transparent. Well, he hasn't, maybe compared to Trump to a point, but he sure as hell hasn't been transparent with all the alleged victims of abuse at his hand. No. And I recently found out another one by the name of, I don't know if I want to give her a name. Anyway, a new victim. I know her name. You can look this up. But a new victim came out recently, and she was trying to tell her story on American media. She actually had to go to Australia, 60 Minutes in Australia, to tell her story. Now, again, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it even can be substantiated, but her testimony sounds a lot like which, again, this is a touchy one too, because I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to both sides. And there's a lot of allegations against Biden over the years, and they all follow a similar pattern, which could mean one of two things. Either they're all accurate, or one has been told and everybody is copycatting, or some mixture of the two.
Biden, his MO is scratch and sniff. That's what most women say. No, I'm just kidding. Come here,
well, it's funny you say that, because that's basically what this alleged victim says. However, I know he isn't being crucified the way Kavanaugh was.
No. And speaking of justice, what was her name? Comey? It's not Comey. That's
Oh gosh, I knew you're. I'm brain farting tonight.
Something calm.
The latest nominee,
yeah.
Right?
Anyway, so they're already attacking her because of her faith.
Yeah, they touched on that.
So
I don't think that was. I think that was overplayed.
Okay.
I don't think there was a lot of substantial, because. And again, who cares? So what?
I just don't get it. They say, what's the reason behind them not? They say it's not supposed to happen that way. They're not supposed to, not elect. What do they call it?
Nominate?
Well, they have to be sworn in, right? Or I can't remember how is it justice?
Confirmed?
Confirmed. Yeah, it's confirmed by the Senate. Okay, so anyway, they have to be confirmed by the Senate, but they say that they shouldn't do that right before an election. I'm like, well,
that's nonsense.
Yeah, but the thing is,
if there's a vacancy, the president nominates and the Senate confirms.
The reason it makes sense and is nonsense at the same time. I know
it doesn't make sense at all.
Well, because the thing is, she's a conservative.
It makes sense to
sway the courts one way.
Potentially, I don't necessarily think so.
It's the highest law of the land. How many cases are actually going to go to the Supreme Court?
Not a ton.
Not a lot.
But
I think we touched on this last
time. We did.
And but going back to it, what the hell does it matter if she gets sworn in?
Well, and it's inconsequential because I shouldn't say it's inconsequential. It doesn't matter, and the Democrats are being very desperate here.
Horribly.
Because it's okay, you can't stop it. So why are you fighting? Well, and I'll jump ahead because they keep talking about packing the court.
I just got a text from Uber.
Huh.
I didn't know I needed to go anywhere. We don't even have Uber here. Sorry. No, that was completely.
That's interesting.
That is kind of creepy.
Your phone's gonna explode. Put it in the hat and kill the
spider. It's the spider. He's calling for an Uber. He's gonna leave the hat.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyway. We'll jump ahead to packing the court because that started flat out pissing me off. They will not answer the question.
And how many seats did the Biden-Obama administration leave open? 118?
Kamala's little comment there. Okay, so first of all, so that we can define this, what packing the court actually means, because it's a little bit of a misnomer. So what packing the court means is, let's say hypothetically, so this new justice gets confirmed, and then Biden and Harris win the election. What they're going to do is packing the court means they're going to add seats onto the Supreme Court through legislation so that they can even out the number of conservatives versus liberals on the court. But they're not going to even it out. They're going to add enough seats to make a liberal majority. And that's what they mean by packing the court. Well, she made that little comment. She's like, you want to talk about packing the court? You appointed all these judges. Like, no. Those were vacancies left over from the Obama administration that needed to be filled, and they weren't. It's the president's prerogative that if there are vacancies, you are filled. And her little story about Abraham Lincoln is halfway kind of sorta ish true.
Yeah, but the thing is, regardless, I mean, even if he said that, it doesn't necessarily mean he's right or wrong. It's his opinion.
Well, but here's the thing about the whole Abraham Lincoln situation, and I thought this, and then I looked it up, and I was like, okay, I actually felt pretty smart. So I was like, well, I don't know, there was kind of a fucking war going on at the time.
So that was the least of his worries, was packing the court.
So now here's the way she's right. There was a vacancy. And he did say he wanted to give the American people a chance to let their voices be heard, but that was not through an election. It was through correspondence. People wrote to him and to his office making certain suggestions, but he was not planning to wait till after an election, and he fucking got, and then he got shot.
We know the story.
Yeah.
So it's like.
By the way, I saw an awesome shirt online that I kind of wanted to buy. It's got a portrait of Lincoln, and then underneath says, "I hate theater." Oh, so do you remember when Seth MacFarlane hosted the Oscars?
It's been a while.
And he told the Abraham Lincoln joke?
No.
Oh, so he's up there. He's like, and I feel like, because he was talking about Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln in the movie Lincoln, and he's like, man, I feel like no actor has gotten into Lincoln's head since John Wilkes Booth. And then, like, there's just this collective, like, in the audience, he was like, really? Too soon?
Too soon? 200 years or
not? Oh, I laughed my ass off.
Okay.
I laughed my ass off. I thought that was funny as hell.
That is hilarious.
I mean, but really, that just shows, like, Hollywood has lost its sense of humor, and it's been gone for a long time.
Yeah. Considering, their only humor is Alec Baldwin doing Trump.
Which isn't even very good.
No.
Nobody holds a candle to Daryl Hannah doing Clinton. It's the best one ever. One of my favorite skits ever is after George W. got elected. It's got Daryl Hannah as Clinton. He's packing a suitcase in the Oval Office. He wants his freaking job. He can have it. I think the best part was, though, he threw a dress in the suitcase. That was such a subtle joke, but...
Speaking of... have the job. Okay. The job and have it in Bush. Peaceful transfer
the peaceful
of power.
Transition of power.
Thank you.
That was such a stupid question. And it really showcased the moderators. Well, not even the moderator, because allegedly...
Whoever was writing the moderator stuff.
Yeah.
The complete bias.
Complete. Utter.
Horrid. It's like I can't.
Okay, so let's touch on this a bit, because this is why that question was so incredibly stupid. He has no choice, because here's what happens.
What's he gonna do? He's gonna leave.
But let's say for shits and giggles that he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So let's say Biden wins. He's sworn into office on January 20th, whether Trump is in the audience or not. You know what happens to somebody who's in the White House when they're not supposed to be in the White House? They get kicked the fuck out.
Yeah. Or they put
by Secret Service. Oh, no. Secret Service would be in that faster than you can. Because the minute that transition of power happens, again, whether Trump wants it to or not, Secret Service is now protecting Biden. And there's a potential threat to the president in the White House, and he needs to be removed.
Yep.
They will handle that so quick. So it's a stupid question.
And Trump, even if he doesn't like it, he's not going to do that.
Like, he'll be dragged out kicking and screaming.
Well, he's more talk.
And again, first of all,
he's a fucking Big Mac. And I had a Big Mac tonight, and it was actually really good.
I never liked the Big Mac. Too much bread.
It was a lot of bread, but
they got that middle bun.
It was actually the first time I had it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of the mac sauce, which is like just...
It's mayo and ketchup, isn't it?
It's not fancy sauce, motherfucker. It's Thousand Island sauce with some like ketchup and pickle juice and whatever it is. But it was actually okay. Anyway, so back to the topic.
Man. But I gotta sling some shit Pence's way, because he deflected the tax comment. He said, listen, Donald Trump pays so much money in other taxes. It's like, oh.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
Was that towards the end?
Because I think it was right after she made the tax comment, and it was his turn, and he was
Second time through it, I only made it.
he pays property taxes, payroll taxes. It's like, what you should have done was said income tax. but you didn't. So that actually makes me think there's some validity to that assessment of his taxes.
But once again,
it's unsubstantiated
because it's a legal loophole.
Maybe,
because
he is under audit.
Yeah, and he's been constantly under audit for years.
Which is not surprising. See, there's this misconception there's a misconception that when you're in an audit that you've been caught doing something wrong. No, all an audit is they see something irregular and they're investigating it to see. Because sometimes audits result in nothing. Sometimes it's like, oh, you know what? We as the IRS made a mistake, and we needed these documents to clarify. And sometimes you get caught and then you pay your fines or you go to jail, depending on what you did.
Yeah.
Next. So, and I'm just going to touch on this a little bit. I'm getting really tired of this jobs crisis rant. Now, again...
They both said it.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like...
Pence was defending it, saying there wasn't necessarily one, but...
Well, Kamala Harris talking about the manufacturing... was it the USMCA? Did you catch that? It was the USMCA... Where is it? I can't even read my own writing. Yeah. So apparently, Kamala Harris voted against the USMCA, which helped bring back manufacturing for cars.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, so she
after criticizing Pence for voting against the auto bailout.
Yes, exactly. And she's like, "You are against this," and then immediately.
Which I would like to point out that the first and largest auto bailout was actually under the Bush administration. So don't give Obama credit for something he didn't do, and he voted for it, by the way.
Was that Chrysler?
It was Chrysler and GM.
GM, okay, yeah.
I believe.
Honestly, I understand that like the auto industry
should have let the fuckers go out of business.
Exactly. Because another company would have just taken over.
Or don't tell me for a fucking minute they wouldn't have restructured.
Exactly. And what happens when a company goes bankrupt? They
sell off their assets.
And they do with their lawyers and they get whatever they can and then they start
over.
Leave them the fuck alone. This is the problem with government getting involved in every single little fucking aspect.
The phrase too big to fail. So, I mean, let me get this straight. You're not going to let GM and Chrysler go out of business, but you are going to let major financial firms go out of business. Like...
And they handle...
And to be fair, I want to make this clear. They should have gone out of business. Bear Stearns should have gone under because they were fucking lying. Yeah, we're good.
50%.
Well, and okay, so like, and again, I don't have all the information, so this is probably going to sound really stupid, but like, let's assume for a second that you and I control GM. And we know we're in some shit. But we also know we got a lot of really popular cars, and we got a money problem. Liquidate the fuckers. Sell these things for so cheap that like we won't even be able to keep up. Like, these things are going to be flying out of dealerships.
And that's the thing, man. With
it's called free market economics.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you have a product that's similar to another one, and your cost is similar to theirs, and you can afford to bring the price down...
It's all in margin.
But the thing
is... It's not like they weren't laying off labor anyway.
It's popular if you just lower the price, and it flies off the shelves.
Yep.
You know, these people just don't understand. I mean, I don't know. They... were too reliant on government, and government
big
took care of
time,
them.
big time, and that's exactly what that was.
And it costed taxpayers.
Yep, we still haven't gotten paid back for that one.
No,
and we never will, because I didn't get my free GM car.
Fuck.
For bailing them out. I'm driving a GM car, but sure shit wasn't free.
I have a GMC.
GMC.
I'm pretty sure it still has GM parts, so I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's got Huawei parts.
Huawei?
I'm kidding. I just think the first Chinese brand I could think of. It's tracking your mileage. The Chinese government's tracking your mileage. You still in there, bud? He's gonna jump out and hit me in the face. Yep, still in there.
Hold on. All right, we need him out of there.
No, he's good. He's good.
No, we need our hat. I like it. I don't want to kill you.
Nah, don't kill him.
Oh my god!
No, he's in there. I might just have to make another one. I think that was a Skeeter. That's right, I said Skeeter.
Hey, look, there's even some webbing in there. Here, shape it back up the way you had it.
Is he out?
Yeah, he's gone.
There's webbing. That little bastard.
He was creating a home away from home.
He was squatting. Never mind. We can kill him. He's a fucking liberal.
he was mooching off of us. Ah, all right. So that actually looks like a.
I know.
I like it.
So I used a real hat to mold it. I was gonna keep the real hat underneath, but it wouldn't keep its consistency.
It looks like it should be plaid.
It wasn't plaid, but it's actually a Bullet Club hat. But so the jobs crisis rant. I'm only speaking because we live in Indiana, and we happen to live in a town called Shelbyville, where next to my house, within a 10-mile radius, I think there's more actually, but I know of 5 factories in that immediate vicinity. All of them are hiring, and have been for quite some time.
Yeah, and honestly, they can't keep people.
No, they can't.
Because the turnover rate around everywhere is bad because of I'm not going to say because of the unemployment thing, because obviously that's not the issue. The issue around this town
it hasn't helped, but
is the drug epidemic.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I think that's really.
Oh, I'll tell you right now.
United States.
I'll tell you right now that if we at my company, if we had drug tested regularly, we would not have had employees. That's a fact.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it's like when we
now,
say
they
drugs,
weren't...
we don't mean pot. We're talking like.
Oh no, I mean pot.
Hardcore pills.
No, I mean pot.
Okay. Well, I know. Okay. Well, what I'm getting at is I don't.
Oh, around here,
I
yeah.
Call it a drug.
Well, okay. If I drug tested for marijuana, I would not have had employees.
It is a drug.
And it's not like they were showing. What I mean is, like, it's not like they were showing up to work baked. Although there were a couple, but not regularly.
What did they do for you?
Cabinet assembly mostly.
Oh shit! You'd have to be a little slow to have to do it. Like, all right, this staple goes here.
Nah, it's the easiest fucking job ever.
Speaking of, I'm gonna have to get some new cabinets in the near future, and I know a guy.
Luckily, you know a guy. Yeah, we talked about actually. What color? Well, we'll talk about that off the air. Because I got some hella deals going on right now, but
you heard them, people.
There are and I'm not shitting you, up to 50% off on one particular style. Job crisis rant. So yeah, But even the moderator pointed out when she started phrasing the question that unemployment is going down, and we are still under a pandemic. I'm sorry, case closed. I mean, I'm not saying it's because of Trump, but you cannot hate on this economy. Because even in the middle of a pandemic, the stock market is still going up consistently, not every day. I mean, it went down when Trump got COVID, but you cannot gauge the strength of an economy on the daily stock market. That's just insane.
Glad you said that. Trump getting COVID, he's already back.
Oh, I know, and they hate it.
Yeah,
and they hate it.
He is back, and he's just finding. I remember seeing people. Just the hateful, negative things, in which obviously I don't expect.
Dan Crenshaw pointed that out.
Yeah, and it's like, look, we get that you don't like the guy,
but to wish death.
If people we don't like, say for one, AOC.
I don't wish her to. I don't want her to get sick.
No, I'm talking like if she got sick, we're not gonna sit here and tweet out or say anything like, oh, that bitch needs to die. It's no, because that's just stupid. Just because she has a different.
No, I want her to. I want them to read.
Yeah, well, I want them to stay what they're doing because the comedic value is amazing.
Comedians are loving this year.
Yes, because I mean.
Well, they're not because they can't perform.
Has anyone
but
portrayed AOC yet?
No, not that I've seen.
They need to. Someone needs to do it, and I don't know.
Hell, I'm surprised she hasn't hosted SNL yet. Or has she?
I can't. Who knows? I mean, I can't remember the comedian's name. She's a woman.
I would hope she is a woman.
Holy shit! She played on Parks and Rec. She's got these eyes. She's really gorgeous. I can't remember. She's
Parks and Rec.
She has.
Oh, is it Aubrey Plaza?
Yes, I love her.
She's hysterical.
I think.
Did you ever see Bad Grandpa?
She can pull it off. No, I have not yet.
Oh, dude, you
Bad Grandpa, was that with Robert De Niro?
Yeah. I think it was Bad Grandpa.
I have not seen that.
That movie's hilarious.
Anytime
and she's in it, and she's fantastic. I would think of Jackass, which I think I might be.
The one with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, I might be messing up the title.
I didn't watch that.
Oh no, it's
Did
hysterical.
you watch something Point Break or
The
something
remake?
like that? No. It's something with Johnny Knoxville in it, and he's basically doing he's not doing stunts, but it's a movie.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
Something.
The theme park one, right?
Yes, it was like such a good movie.
I've not seen it.
Anyway, so
Wonder Point. I don't remember, but so the job crisis.
Anyone watching, if you can.
Yeah, educate us.
Out, put it in the comments. Well, live chat, whichever you prefer.
So I'm calling bullshit on both sides for this one because they kept bringing up the Trump tax bill, not the Trunks tax bill.
Trunks.
Cut it in half.
We're gonna slash your taxes in half.
There's like 3 people that are hardcore DBZ fans out there that are just like, So here's the thing: the Trump tax bill is really complicated, and it's easy to cherry pick because it's so complicated. It did heavily favor the wealthy. That's a fact, and disproportionately so, and that's wrong. But to say that it was responsible for $2 trillion deficit is just asinine. It's just you can't say that. It's not accurate. Because first of all, how could you know? I mean, anyway. However, it did benefit some people in the, I think it was some people in the middle class. It kind of a toss-up. I do know personally a lot of people whose tax return, it affected my business. Because normally around tax time we get a spike in orders because people get their tax money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we fell flat because most people didn't get as much or didn't get a tax return at all. Or tax refund at all. And it affected us. So that whole tax bill.
You're talking about the Trump tax.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, though, on average, they.
Well, they say that, but I call bullshit on that figure.
I don't know. Like, my taxes after that, like.
I got fucked.
My other job, before the current one,
mm-hmm.
my taxes were insanely good. I was able to. I didn't owe as much as I thought I was going to owe. I made a lot of money. And, I'm not going to go into any...
He made a lot of money.
I made a lot of money.
We talked about it. He made a lot of money.
So, it's like, I didn't have any issues.
I think it just depended on your situation. But to say...
So...
Well, so was I, and I got reamed.
You are W2?
Yeah.
I figured you
Well, I'm W2 with a K1, which is... That was enlightening.
You're able to write off?
Kind of, to a point.
Yeah, because they stopped allowing W2 in 2019. The law changed, and W2 workers were not, if they had to use their own car for travel, they were not allowed to do mileage.
If you're a regular W2, yes, that's correct.
But
I'm kind of, because okay, so I have a W2. So I'm the same as most people, but since I own a percentage of the company, I also have a K1 form attached, which is essentially just an income differential statement. So if the company has a loss, theoretically, whatever proportion of the company I own, I take that deficit income and that comes off of my income. However, there are limits to how many times I can do that in a row. So if my company shows a loss for 5 years, by the time I get to the 3rd or 4th year, like I basically can't deduct all that much. And I might be totally fucking that. My accountant explained it to me. And I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid.
I don't understand.
But at the same token, let's say my business turns a profit. And this is what people don't understand. So if my business turns a profit, my company doesn't pay that tax. So if my company makes a $50,000 profit, and let's say I own 10% of the company, I just did that math horribly wrong.
I think it's like $500.
Yeah, no, it's more than that.
5,000.
Okay, just to make my stupid math up, let's say we made $100,000 profit, and I own 10% of the company.
There you go. That works.
$10,000 gets added to my income that I then have to pay income tax on.
Yes, because it's income.
That's some bullshit. However, if we'd been an LLC like I wanted to, the LLC would have paid the taxes and I wouldn't have had to do shit. I'm not bitter about it at all.
No, not at all. All right, we lost the viewer. Let's get back to the thing.
Okay, long story short, LLC. Go with an LLC. Always go with an LLC. S corps for fucking idiots. Anyway. And then this is pandering at its finest, but it was ineffective. She wants to if you have student loan debt, she's going to cut it by $10,000. Whoop-de fucking do.
That and what's the average cost of a 4-year institution?
I don't know, but I think the average amount of student
70,000.
I don't know, but I think the average amount of student debt in the country is like $60,000.
Yeah, so $10,000.
Woohoo!
While it's a good incentive, it's not.
It's a
that
terrible
great.
incentive. What the? And when you owe $60,000,
Sounds like a good incentive.
Oh, sounds yeah.
And then the other part of that comment that you're talking about, the anyone whose family makes under $125,000 a year, they get 2-year college for free. And I'm like, Ivy Tech already offers free courses.
Yes.
And on top of that, they offer free GED. They offer free all kinds of things. And it's like,
so
you already have that.
To a point, but not nationally.
Yes, not nationally. But the thing is, once again, all this should be left up to individual states.
Correct, because Tennessee has free community college.
Yeah,
and that's new. And here's the thing. When they did that, I was like, go Tennessee. Why, you ask? Well, let's say you live in Indiana and you're 17 and you're broke. Like, you ain't got shit. Well, guess what? Tennessee's just a car ride away. Now, I think you have to get your citizenship in Tennessee, but I don't think it takes all that long. Same thing you would have to do to qualify for in-state tuition in a state that you weren't from.
And then you just go down there, get you a little part-time job, and have you a little shit.
And Tennessee is very worker-friendly.
Oh, absolutely. There's a shit ton of jobs.
Except for Nashville. I hear Nashville is great to find a job, but it's like
work at all kinds of restaurants.
Yeah, I know, but I what's the joke? Everybody in Nashville, there's so many musicians, but they're too busy waiting tables.
Oh.
I've
never heard that.
I think that was a Ben Shapiro joke, actually.
He's getting ready to move to Nashville, right?
Yep, that's where he's going.
Son of a bitch. Will you hand me a water back there? They're in the...
Oh, yep.
I am parched. I am not impartial. I am parched.
I am impartial. So I came up with a plan, and I would like to share it.
Thank you.
So the student debt crisis is a thing, and it's very real, and something needs to be done.
Yes.
But at the same time, you can't just
college if you don't know what the fuck you want to do and pick something that's
and can't pay for it.
Job.
And can't pay for it.
Lesbian dance theory.
that is such a hyperbolic statement, I swear. I cringe when he says it though, because it's like, yeah, but nobody really does. I mean, I'm sure someone has, but that's for someone who hates case of one arguments, he sure uses that one a lot.
Oh yeah.
But so it's a two-sided problem. One, you can't just write it all off because they took out the loans and they signed paperwork. So you have to hold them accountable. However, I also believe that the federal government should not be making money in the form of interest on these student loans.
No, it should.
So I actually wrote good old Joe Donnelly and never heard back. But anybody elected official, wink wink, that might ever listen to this, feel free to steal this. So I think what we should
first.
Yeah, donate first. Like, subscribe, and share.
And share. Comment too.
Yeah, comment, unless it's hateful, because I'm sensitive. But anyway, so here's my plan. If I were emperor of the world, or at least of the United States, what I would do, or at least what I would propose, is let's do this. First thing you have to do is you have to establish a cutoff date and say, okay, at this point, the U.S. government is no longer going to do student loans. We're not going to issue them. We're not going to do any more. That's up for debate. But you have to have a cutoff date. And then the other thing we're going to do is, in exchange for cutting them off and doing no more new loans, the federal government is going to forgive the interest on any and all existing federal student loans.
That in itself would be super helpful. I mean,
immensely.
Even if it's 1-2%.
Immensely helpful. But a lot of those loans are like 4 or 5. Some are 6.
Well, and I would say if you can make a payment, doesn't matter what it is, no penalties.
Yeah, and they already have a lot of things in place like that right now.
Right.
But it's not clear.
But the thing is, though, a lot of these students, their tax checks are taken, and some of them could actually.
If they're in real trouble, yes.
Well, I've got a few friends, and of course they should have been a little more. They should have been a little less frugal with their money, but they racked up a lot of debt for college, didn't finish, and now they're paying out the ass for student loans, and
they don't even have the degree.
They don't have shit.
Right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when I ran out of money, they literally wouldn't let me borrow anymore based on my income. I didn't hit like the max threshold, but like based on my income, I couldn't borrow anymore.
Right.
Which is another like, okay, so you let, and again, I was stupid. I'll be the first to admit it. It was really stupid.
It's okay. Live and learn.
Well, yeah, but again, I'm still not like.
Are you paid up on your student loan?
Fuck no.
How much?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's probably about 60 something.
Holy shit.
No, maybe I don't know.
What do you have left? Go back and do it.
Well, I'm going back, but I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
I'm going back, but I'm gonna pay for it, and it's gonna be a totally different major because again, it was stupid. I thought it would be awesome to go to this super expensive art school in California. I learned a lot.
You went to California?
No, I didn't. It was online.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's.
Awesome. Oh, it was really hard. Like it's a good school.
I wish California wasn't so damn crazy. I would love to live in Cali. If it wasn't so
I wouldn't.
expensive.
I wouldn't. Well, there's a lot of crazy people out there.
Yeah, and that's my point. You know, if it were to change for the better, you know, clean it up a bit.
Get some Republicans up in there.
Like you know what? Where are we at on points?
Oh, I just made that whole point about the plan about the student loans.
Okay.
Because I mean that would, and then I think there should be some sort of program to put in place that helps people get out of this nonsense. Because let's be real. Yes, they signed the documents, but at the same time, they were being spoon-fed a bunch of bullshit. I mean, a bunch of bullshit. And if you're going to keep federal student loans around, I think a caveat to that is the government should offer some sort of guarantee. Meaning, if you don't get a job in your field, guess what? Your loans go away. That'll end that program real quick because you can't promise that. It's not possible. Because, again, if you get a degree in lesbian dance theory, there's only so many job openings.
That's a really good idea if they were to implement something like that.
Oh, and the other part of that is no, like you said, no penalties on as long as you're making some kind of payment. You know, whether send them a check for $20. And the best advice, if you're going through and you're in trouble with student loans, I'm telling you right now, call them. You're not
doing yourself any favors
because there are so many options available to you, but you don't know they exist.
Yep.
But call them. They will help you. I mean, they will do it. So if you've got student loans, please call them and just tell them what's going on. And in fact, right now, if you have student loans, federal student loans, not private, and again, we're talking about federal, I believe you don't even have to make payments until November because of COVID.
That's actually, I don't know about student loans, but I was sued.
Hell yeah. What'd you do?
I owed a place money. And,
it was just money.
Yeah, and see, exactly what he's
That's
talking
boring.
about. Exactly what he's talking about is giving these people a call. I did not do that. So, do that. Anyway.
Oh, if you get a tax notice too, call them. Jesus.
I was sued, and but with COVID, they have put it on a hold for a very long time.
Yep.
And you know, so it's like, all right, I appreciate that.
Ride that wave.
Exactly.
Well, and it's like too, and I've said too, like if Bernie got elected and he forgave all student loan debt, would I bitch? No.
No.
But exactly. I don't think it's a good idea.
No.
But I mean, shit.
Exactly. That's the thing about you know.
Well, it's like the stimulus. I thought it was
the most heartfelt conservative who doesn't want fucking government money. When they got that check, they're going. Yeah.
Well, that's different though, because that. So normally under almost any circumstances, I would have said that was a horrible idea, except for the fact that the recession was caused directly by government. And in that case, which I would like to point out, that's my next point. Stimulus was led by Trump, and that's not disputable.
Nope.
And the Democrats are actively stopping a new round of stimulus from getting, because they keep fighting for more. It's like, well, guess what? Anything's bigger than zero.
Pelosi's, I'm not necessarily going to say Pelosi, but the Democratic side, some of the things they were advocating for, oh shit.
Well, this, you know what? This isn't even a conspiracy, but I'm gonna go ahead and humor.
Some of the things they were advocating for were just nonsensical because
and it's an election tactic.
Exactly, they had nothing to do with people hurting from this virus and people hurting from this economic crisis.
They want credit for the next stimulus because they wanted credit for the second round of stimulus. They wanted credit for the first. It was a huge political victory for Trump because he got there first. He had them in a corner because on the one hand, they can't criticize the stimulus because that's what they were fighting for, but they can't praise it because then they'd have to praise Trump.
Oh no!
So it was a perfect political win for Trump. And the second round, because we all know there's going to be a second round, it's a question of when, not if.
Yeah.
And both sides were fighting over it, but now they've fought themselves into a corner, and you're probably not going to see anything until after the election. I said you would probably see a stimulus roll out in late October, but I don't think that's going to happen now. I was talking about that after the first round.
I'm going to say January. Honestly, I think we will most.
Well, it depends on who wins.
I don't think if anything happens. I'm gonna throw something on the table. I don't know if it's gonna stick to the wall or not. No, it's not that. It's not a conspiracy. But I think that if they wait long enough, it's not gonna be necessarily like a direct payment stimulus. I think it's gonna be more like an addition to your tax check.
Probably. Although I think the direct payment would be a good idea in this case.
The direct payment is better because the thing is the tax check can be taken. And honestly, they did put forth legislation, I believe, that allowed them to. No one.
I think they did. I think that was part of the stimulus.
Yeah, because
for at least this tax year,
it was meant to help the economy, not fucking help.
Oh, there were a lot of TVs sold when that stimulus hit.
I bought one.
I actually bought one right before that.
Oh, well, actually, I did on a credit card. And then paid it back as soon as we got the stimulus check, and it was very nice. I also built a very nice deck with it, so.
You do have a nice deck.
I have a very nice big deck.
So you're one of the assholes that made lumber go just skyrocket in price.
Dude, I don't want to fucking hear it. The new shelves I built in here, I literally bought six 2x6s.
Yeah, you told me.
And then eight 8-footers of 2x4s or something like that. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it wasn't a lot of lumber, and it was over $100.
It's so expensive. Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And I got to this. I was like, that's $96. I was like, damn. He's like, yeah, the price of lumber's going up. I'm like, you fucking rich bastard.
Yeah. So these next couple of points are gonna be really quick, but I think they're worth being said. I actually have to amend one though.
Before we do that, didn't you have a conspiracy?
No, that was the conspiracy.
Okay.
That they were using it as an election tactic. But again, I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think that's a fact.
Well, technically, conspiracy is just an idea between two people, so technically everything.
Oh, we're getting dictionary.com. They brought up fracking a couple of times, and I will say, until today, because I saw a video where Biden said that he would ban fracking.
Yeah.
But prior to that, the only thing that I could find was he said he would ban new fracking operations on federal land. However, I saw a video of him talking to a plant somewhere, and he said that he was going to ban fracking. So he's not going to ban fracking. Like, that's just not going to happen. And if he says he's going to, he's lying. That would be so incredibly short-sighted.
He would want to.
He would want to, but it would be...
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
He's going to have all kinds of people saying, no, Joe.
Now, I'm totally for taking measures to make sure fracking is safer, but they're already doing that. Every day they're finding new ways to do it that's safer, cleaner, all that good stuff. So don't go crazy, but don't ban it. And I would like to remind everyone that Obama authorized the largest opening of offshore drilling operations of any president in history.
What do you know? He's so green, which goes into my...
Well, but it is
It's
green.
the perfect segue.
Oh, okay, here we
The
go.
Green New Deal that they're trying to pass. It's not the Green New Deal by AOC, but the thing is, it's a $2 trillion investment into businesses and homes.
It sounds a lot like the Green New Deal.
To retrofit them with green technology, which does not sound like a bad idea.
If it's done willingly.
Willingly, but the thing is, though, like, honestly, what would be more beneficial to get homeowners, and I'm just going to say homeowners because, yeah, businesses contribute a lot, but there's a lot of homes in the United States.
Tons.
If there were tax credits to help retrofit homes with, like, certain, maybe solar panels or something like that.
Well, but there's already...
Not retrofit, that's the wrong word, but, just...
Install new.
Install that, but also, like, say they have outdated... insulation, something like that, to...
And there's a lot of really cool products out there that are super...
They got rid of a lot of tax credits.
Yeah.
Because when I insulated my garage and obviously did
a little bit of
work. Yeah, I just gotta put some drywall up. But the thing is, I could have had a tax credit for that, but no, we had to get rid of the long form, I believe, and so I wasn't able to get that.
I actually know, and they had, I don't know if it's the same product, but it's
expensive.
Yeah. So I know a builder. He's a home, well, actually, he wasn't a home builder, but he does this really, really cool process.
Is it the foam?
The green foam?
Stick it in.
Oh, no, the spray foam insulation. I mean, they do that, but that's
so cool.
I can't even accurately explain, but these houses are so cool because they're super green and super energy efficient, but they're cheaper. But the trick is you have to, if you build from scratch, if you were to try to implement these things in an existing home, it would be cost prohibitive.
Right.
But if you build them this way, and there was another booth the same year we were at the home show together, I don't even know how to describe it, but it was basically a replacement for drywall. Not drywall. It was, I don't remember, but anyway, it was some really cool stuff. Pointing out again, the Trump camp has not released a healthcare plan, so that was nonsense.
That's not an easy thing to do, though.
It's not, but they keep saying that Trump has a plan.
Before Obamacare, though, there was, like, nothing.
Well, but the government...
The government shouldn't be in it.
It's not the government's job, and the problem is that the government was already too in it.
Yeah, and
that was the problem.
Get rid of statewide regulations. Allow them to sell...
So here's the thing. And she brought up the whole, like, kids being on their parents... Well, she brought up the whole kids being on their parents' plan.
If you have to be on your parents' fucking plan until you're 26, what are you doing? Like, unless you're going to, like, law school.
Well, that was the point. That's why they said 26, actually, was because people in prolonged master's programs...
Well, and that's the thing. If you are in school and you can prove it.
Well, and fuck that.
You shouldn't have to prove it.
Here's the simpler thing. Let's say I got a kid in law school and I want to put them on my insurance plan. Why not? Why shouldn't I be able to do that? Why can't I put my neighbor, if I'm a generous person and I want to add my neighbor with type 2 diabetes onto my health insurance plan.
You're going to pay a higher premium.
Exactly, but why shouldn't I be allowed to do that if I'm okay with paying the higher premium?
Yeah, absolutely. That's like...
And you know what? That's called a co-op, by the way, and those exist.
And that's kind of like the auto insurance.
Precisely.
You can
put whoever you want on that.
It's crazy. You can add anyone.
But you're going to pay.
You're going to pay a little more, but the thing is, though, like, if you have benefits... They reap those benefits from you, and that's the thing is, this is where Big Pharma... This is where Big Pharma comes into play with all this stuff, because Big Pharma has their pockets in this industry. Like, they pretty much run it.
Pretty well.
And the thing is, this is where I was talking about earlier with the technical shadow governments that I believe we do have, I could be wrong one day, unless they kill me.
Well, if you show up dead.
I hope I don't show up dead. I'm pretty sure I'd be found dead.
Well, see, here's how you protect yourself. If he shows up dead somewhere, or if he's found dead somewhere, the shadow government exists. Checkmate.
You know it. I like how it's a little behind, so we can see her. So we're like,
here you go. There, you're still scratching. You're about to go crazy here in a second.
Oh, I'm pointing.
Yep, there you go. And then There you go. Oh god.
I'm a very large person. I never realized that.
The camera adds 10 pounds.
I didn't mean fat, you asshole. I'm large.
Oh god.
This guy's mean. I'm getting rid of that.
Sorry, I should have trigger warned you.
All right, next point.
They made a comment about CO2 emissions. Or Pence did rather.
Yeah, the
looked it up. I expected to find that to not be the case, and it's actually, from what I saw, it's actually true. And I got that information from the International Energy Agency. The United States. Now, here's the tricky part, though. So their graph compared the United States to the European Union. And the European Union cut emissions more, but the European Union is several countries. And it was barely more. It was barely more.
And from my knowledge, I can't remember what year this was, but carbon emissions, the United States only contributed 5% to the entire world.
I think after the major, because at one point I think it was 20, but that was way back. That was like back in the 80s,
That's
I believe.
like China.
Yeah, China wasn't even on this graph.
And speaking of China, and let's just throw out LA during the pandemic shut.
Clear skies.
It was amazing. Like,
yep.
There's a few famous the famous YouTubers I watched, and they're like, "This is insane! Like, the sky is so beautiful here over LA."
Yeah.
Because the small.
It's like we can see it.
and it's like, we believe in this stuff. Don't fucking creepy ass guy. But it's like we believe in this stuff, but it's like. I mean, I don't think it's contributing to like all kinds of other stuff. Like,
human activities do contribute to climate change. I don't think that's disputable.
Small portion, I believe, makes it change. It's like, what is it with the hurricanes? Like, what's causing that?
So funny story. I looked that claim up too. Turns out Pence's claim is largely. I'm sorry, not. Hang on.
Kamala.
Yes, I'm sorry, Kamala's. So, shit, now I'm trying. Yeah, Kamala's comment. No, Pence's comment. I'm sorry.
Because Pence said
there are not
years ago that we had
it's about the
just as
same.
Many.
It's about the same.
So did you fact check that?
Yep.
And it's true?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it's hard to say. Now, Kamala did mention I think our camera died.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now you just get to listen to us. Because we're wrapping up here. I'm going to bullet point these pretty quick. Severity is hard to quantify.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a hurricane 100 years ago, the property damage is not going to be as high because there weren't as many buildings. So that's hard to quantify. And I'm glad that Pence also brought up forest management again, because that is... Climate change is affecting the wildfires.
Agree.
But...
if you light a match and just toss it, the entire fucking thing goes up.
Because they don't manage the kindling.
The dead brush. You know, and kindling, for people who don't know, is very great for bonfires.
Very great. But here's what you got to understand, and I learned this recently through Jordan Peterson, of all people. A lot of species of trees are able to tolerate surprisingly high temperatures. But once they exceed that and they catch on fire, almost impossible to put out.
Right.
And I found this out firsthand because I cut down a bunch of trees on my property, and I figured, no big deal, and I let them die. Like, I let them sit out there for a few days. They were not alive. It took forever to burn those damn things. It took forever and almost impossible to start. I had to use so much additives to actually get them to catch on fire, and then to get them to stay on fire was a chore in and of itself. Like, it's not easy to catch a tree on fire.
No.
So that gives you some... And then another thing, PragerU put out a very interesting video about... They brought up forest management, but they also brought up... And I haven't fact-checked these numbers, but it makes sense. So the power grid is almost exclusively owned by the state in California. And wildfires started to spike after they started investing a lot of their budget into green energy research and took it away from maintenance. So basically their grid is falling apart on itself, and a lot of these fires are started from faulty electric lines and poles catching fire. Now again, I have substantiated that. That's a really hard claim to fact check.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to me it made sense. and they outlined dates and stuff. And some of the worst wildfires were from a long time ago, but they have increased in number, and statistically, they are more severe. Next one, forest management. I'm gonna sling shit on both parties. Both parties believe in science when it's convenient for them, and then
Yep, absolutely.
and that we don't even have to go into it. You know what we're talking about. Don't even have to go into that. Kamala brought up how they removed science from a website, but she didn't say what website. And I tried to find it. I could not, it's not clear what website. I would have loved if she had said a website, but she's probably full of shit.
Yeah, and just like Pence said, which one brings me to his quote, which I loved it. He said, "You're entitled to your own opinions, but not your own facts."
There's no way he wrote that. He had that. The way he delivered that, he had that in his back pocket.
He said it a couple times.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
It's true though.
Well, regardless, though,
that's right up there with facts don't care about your feelings.
Oh, absolutely. That was just another rendition.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was perfect for her because honestly, she just, you know how she talks like this. I don't know how to explain her. Like, I don't know. She's just she's an emotional creature.
A lot of liberal Democrats are though. I almost took a point away from Pence for
Booker. He'll stare you down.
I really don't like Cory Booker, but it's because he's incredibly fake.
Oh, horribly.
It's so manufactured. Even his smile is fake, and it's a good smile. It's a good smile, but it's fake as hell.
Motherfucking Pandora. He's from the continent of Pandora.
I almost took a point away from Pence from his answering question thing because of what he did. He was asked about climate change and he shifted it to taxes and then repeated himself like twice. I almost took a point away.
Should lose points when you don't answer a damn question.
We already touched on that. Just the manufacturing recession. So Harris made a comment about how the Trump administration started scaling back the pandemic prevention and monitoring system. This is mostly true. They did scale it back. The Obama version was called Predict, and they had just started to scale it back when COVID-19 hit. Now, the reason I say it's mostly true is because they did have a plan to replace it with something, but it wasn't clearly defined. It wasn't a priority for them, which again is evidenced by the fact that they didn't restock the national PPE stockpile. It wasn't a priority for them.
Right. And yeah, exactly.
But
we both agree on that.
But when COVID happened, they stopped scaling it back and they re-implemented. They basically extended its life. So that's what they're touching on when they say, the people weren't in China because they pulled them back. But then when they tried to send them back, they weren't allowed in. So I say it's mostly true. It's like it's true factually, but you're trying to make it sound like they didn't care when in fact they were like scrambling to get it back once something was happening, and then they were stopped
they
from.
Just really need to stop pointing the fingers at each other and just start pointing the fingers at themselves.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say again, she brought up Russia again. No collusion was found.
Or
Russia influences every election. Yeah. From both sides, and I'd like to point out that they also had access to the emails from the DNC and released them that showed substantially that the DNC was purposefully de-emphasizing Bernie Sanders in lieu of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and it's...
But not collusion.
No.
Not collusion. I don't think there was collusion there. I just think the Russians are really... The Russian intelligence organization is extremely good at...
They're just like the butler off of Mr. Deeds. He's very, very sneaky.
He's very sneaky.
They're just like it.
Pence pointed out that Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, which should have been done a long time ago, in my opinion. I wish he would have touch more on the peace agreement between the United Arab Emirates and Israel.
Holy shit.
Because that's hysterical, and Trump's getting no credit for that.
No.
I said when that happened, I said, watch him win the Nobel Peace Prize, and holy shit, will they freak out.
Is not a fan of Trump. He doesn't hate the guy, but the thing
I am a fan of peace in the Middle East, though.
Peace in the Middle East. You hear me? He's rhyming now. But
peace in the Middle East, man.
I'm not a giant... I don't know. I sway back and forth on the guy.
I would have been just as supportive as an Obama peace agreement.
But the thing is, though, like, he's coming up with
I'm coming up with a lot of
He's
positive
got
things.
three big treaties right now.
Yeah.
In the Middle East, I believe.
Well,
are they all in the Middle East?
They're negotiating one with Jordan right now,
Just
I believe.
For time's sake, it's
I believe
other countries, but
yeah, the UAE one was signed. They're working on one with Jordan, I believe, and then I guess they're reframing one with. They're basically improving one with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and what did Nancy Pelosi say about that? It's a distraction.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You old bat. Let go of your.
Who is anti-mask?
Yeah. Yes, in the salon where she got her hair did.
She got her did.
Anyway, back to
the next point I had is because they brought up ISIS again. I'm not gonna, because this one's a long, nuanced one. However, I would highly recommend the most recent. Do what?
Whatever his name was, Soleimani.
Yeah, right. But I would highly recommend that you go and listen to or watch the latest episode of the Joe Rogan podcast with Tim Kennedy, because he touches on the funding difference between the Obama administration and the Trump administration. So basically, it's so good. I'm a huge fan of Tim Kennedy. He reminds me a lot of a guy I used to work with, Larry Brandt. They talk almost the same way, and they have a similar look too. Oh. So it's really funny, and I love Larry. Larry was awesome. I miss working with Larry. He was a lot of fun. But they're almost the same person. It's a very good one. But so basically, Trump increased military funding substantially.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was very popular, because imagine that, when you give soldiers bullets, they tend to like you.
Yeah, because they don't want to die.
Yeah, they like to shoot back, generally speaking.
Thank your servicemen and women.
Now, but in the same breath, I think the story in the Atlantic about Trump calling the World War I soldiers, the dead World War I soldiers, losers.
Yeah.
I don't buy that, and it's been disproven by people that were actually there, and the source was anonymous to the Atlantic. Anytime you have an anonymous source, I generally will call bullshit this day and age. Which one?
The one that said that on the call, the Russian call, or not the Russian call, the Ukrainian call.
Oh yeah.
From that,
Well, it's hard because you gotta remember. I feel like this is gonna get laughs, but Deep Throat was a whistleblower. He's laughing.
Don't you guys remember Deep Throat from X-Files? I love that guy.
Well, I mean, it's been declassified. I just forget his name. But he was a CIA informant, and it was legit. Whistleblowers are tricky.
And he had a bias.
Kind of, but he was right.
If it's the guy I'm thinking of. Oh, no, I must be talking about.
No, Watergate. I'm talking about Watergate.
Okay.
That Deep Throat.
I was told that, I don't know, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure I read something that the whistleblower from the Ukrainian thing was unmasked too.
Maybe I don't know if I read that one. But we all know Forrest Gump was actually the one who uncovered the Watergate scandal, because there was a light shining in that room, and I can't sleep.
He drank 47.
I think they can't find a light switch or something.
I just watched that for the first time like a couple years ago.
It's such a good movie.
It was so long, but it was so good.
So good.
Another movie. I'm getting off a tangent. We'll get back in 1 second. Sling Blade. You ever watch
Yes. That? So good.
That's a very good show.
Don't know much about that right there.
I aim to kill you.
Oh, God.
Shouldn't have done that with my brother.
However, Trump's comments about McCain, and this is documented, he said it, that was super shitty and inappropriate. Like, not cool.
But
he
even attacked him after he was dead too.
Yeah, which was super duper shitty.
But the thing is though, like,
and reprehensible.
He never made it not known that he didn't like the guy when he was alive though.
Yeah, but there's a difference between not liking someone and
ill of the dead.
Well, and you're insulting his character in a way that's not valid.
Right.
Because you can't.
It's like, Trump, you got your problems too, man. So
it's like that's big talk from Captain Bone Spurs over there.
I'm wondering about that. It's like
that was the excuse.
Well, I mean, is that like on record?
Yeah,
they're not,
yeah. That's on record.
My wife has bone spurs, and they're no joke.
Well, I know if he actually had bone spurs, but again, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I likely would have been. I don't know.
She's
I don't know.
actually got to have surgery soon to.
Oh, I
get
know.
it
I know.
fixed.
I know. So
Maybe get it fixed.
I probably would not have been eligible for military service because of my knees, because they've both been surgically repaired. I don't know what the recruitment standards are, but if I were unable to join the military because of my knees, that doesn't give me license to go shit on people that are in the military, especially ones that, actually were prisoners of war and endured a lot and actually, fought and did things that I couldn't or wouldn't do.
I'm not going to name any names, but just because you're in the service does not mean you automatically have respect.
Correct, and Tim Kennedy says this too.
Okay.
And Jocko Willink says this.
Well, I love Jocko.
I love Jocko.
Anyway, so we have a mutual friend.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He was like demanding respect, and he said it on a post, and I said what service, because I was like,
I saw that one. I saw that one, and I think you went a little too far on that one.
Yeah, and it's like obviously, people, our group, we throw.
Oh, we shit on each other for funsies.
But the thing is, it's like.
There's an understood rule though that like if you're gonna throw it out, you better be ready to get it back.
It's disgusting. I didn't understand the dude was so left. He went radical.
He did.
And he went quick because he wasn't like that at first. Like he's always been a little emotional, but I mean, I don't get how people change. Anyway, back to the thing. We're getting off topic.
Yeah, because I want to get through these points. I just made a note that oh, okay. So I also brought up. I do have a problem with the lack of action on the Russian bounties when that came out.
Yeah, that was alarming.
Alarming is like, and he did say, but
it was American heads, not American soldiers, right?
No, American soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I did make a note that Biden would have been all talk at that point. He wouldn't have done anything either. And even if he had publicly condemned it, I mean, nothing would have been done of substance. So they're both kind of. So there was also a comment made by Pence that Biden opposed the raid that ended up killing Osama bin Laden. Look that up. That's not entirely true. During the briefing, when they were deciding whether or not they were going to go on the intelligence they had, Biden advised Barack to wait until they had more information, but he did not come out and say, don't do the raid. So that's not entirely accurate. So give credit where credit's due.
It's kind of like a non-action.
Not even a non-action because, and I don't necessarily. I mean, we know with hindsight he was there, but there had been a lot of raids that we don't know about where he ended up not being there. And every time you do a raid like that, you're putting those SEAL teams at risk because there's a very high probability that they won't come out of that.
Right.
And if it might have been a trap. It might, you just don't know. We talked about Lincoln already. So Pence said something that is just not true. Biden and Harris do not support late-term abortions. No one supports late-term abortions in the sense that they are for them. Where that comes from, in fact, Biden, it's on his voting record. Biden voted against a bill that had that as a potential provision, and it was a potential. It didn't come out and say it, but he saw, or so he says, he saw the potential for that, and he voted against it, and he got shit on by the left when this happened. This was a number of years ago. What this probably comes from, though. Let me read my note here to get my memory back. So, under a lot of current abortion laws, are able to perform a late-term abortion abortion after 24 weeks if the life of the mother is in jeopardy.
Which is very rare.
It's very rare, and it's also a legitimate exception.
If it needs to happen, it needs to happen.
Right.
And that's if the mother
but this is probably a hyperbole statement based on that caveat. Which again, it's a slippery slope. It's not a slippery slope. It's just a weak one. That's like you saying you don't like Cajun food and being like, oh, you don't like Cajuns? You racist fuck.
I'm
That's
not a big fan of Mexican food.
Oh, you did not just go there. Which, first of all, why did you fucking get out of here? You don't like Mexican
I like
food.
Tex-Mex.
Oh, Jesus.
Taco Bell is the shit. Nah, actually,
Taco Bell is the shits.
Taco
Literally.
Bell is the shit. It's like, why doesn't Taco Bell have a playground? It's hard to play when you're about to shit your pants.
That's a slide you don't want to go down.
One of the best memes. Yeah, that's a slippery slope.
That is. We talked about that, about Trump administration not packing the courts. Yeah, we're almost done. So she brought up Charlottesville. You want to talk? You want to talk about condoning violence?
Beating a dead horse. Go ahead.
Oh, the left condones violence almost daily now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't even have to go into it.
How many days, Portland?
I don't even know. It's
like,
just.
It's like.
Well, I'm also bringing up Maxine Waters.
Oh my gosh! When she said to she did not specify. I will give her this. She did not say. She said harass. She didn't say harm.
I have a problem with harassment.
I 100% agree, but she didn't call.
Because harassment is a crime.
Yes, but she didn't call for physical violence. I will say there's a little. I don't like her.
Not at all.
Because I think she is extremely narrow-minded and just. I don't know, like, I feel like she's trying to be a martyr. Obviously, she's not dead, but, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
she's up there. She's up there. But yeah, to call Antifa, all I need to say. I'm sorry, if you're coming at people with bike locks and clubs and
bear mace, or bear spray, whatever it is. Yeah, it's bear mace.
Which, by the way, they keep doing this to people that are holding guns. That is a great way to die.
I don't understand it. Speaking of guns and people, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that whole thing. I saw the video. He committed suicide. I think. If you're talking about, he's the gentleman.
No, he's a young kid.
Yeah, no, he committed suicide.
What?
Hang on, I'm going to fact check myself here because I feel like I'm...
I hope you're wrong.
No, I think...
I really hope you're wrong.
One of them did, because there were two cases that were...
Well, you know what Kyle Rittenhouse was. He was a...
Okay, no, I think I'm wrong.
Oh, thank God. Kyle Rittenhouse was the kid
I know who he is.
AR,
but, yeah.
And he killed... Well, actually, and they
okay, bullet, no, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong.
The bullet that was in the guy, they haven't done a ballistic. I don't believe. Don't. Someone fact check me if they would like. But
oh shit! There was another one.
The ballistics apparently was not the bullet from his gun.
Well, I saw the video. I watched the video.
And it's completely like
dude's coming at him with a skateboard.
Well, and the thing is, there's another video. There's a couple videos of different angles, and it's like.
Yeah, I saw.
Coming out with him, and the one guy actually drew his gun on
him
and fired before he even took a shot.
Yep, and that was confirmed.
Mess, he did not know.
And I would like to know what was going through the guy's head. The second guy who ran at Kyle after he'd already fired his weapon. Now.
The guy with the skateboard, or the other guy with the handgun.
The guy with the skateboard, I believe.
Okay.
Because again, I watched it some time ago. Now, I don't know. Have you ever shot an AR?
I've never shot a gun. Period.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah, they're tons of fun, but they're extremely loud, and it makes its presence known. I don't know anyone who, after hearing, much less seeing, that weapon get fired, would run up to the person holding said weapon and try to attack them. That is a wonderful way to get killed.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just not smart.
No.
I think there's a problem on the radical left where I think they are so completely removed from guns and what they are that I don't think it computes to a lot of them that this thing will kill you. Like, it will end you.
And that's, I'm terrified of being shot.
There's no way, shape, or form.
Fucking rational person
you should be. Well, and I know a lot of friends I know, past and present, who are really big into guns. You won't meet safer people.
Yeah.
Like, I watched, the first time I ever went shooting at a range, I watched a guy get chewed out, like literally chewed out and kicked off the range because he had a gun in his hand. Like, it wasn't loaded. They confirmed this at the time. But somebody was going down range to get a target.
It's supposed to be holstered, right?
Or down, because I think he had a rifle.
Okay.
But, I mean, got chewed out and kicked off the range. And I believe somebody told me later that it was a lifetime ban. Like, they do not fuck around with that. No. Nor should they.
No.
And then there's another hilarious video of two idiots at a shooting range with handguns, and they're taking selfies with it.
One shot?
No, you didn't. Thank God. But it was loaded. And the idiot points it at his friend's head to take a funny picture. But the range master, like, basically tackles the guy. Takes the ammo out, empties it, and then kicks him out immediately.
Fucking idiots, man. Kids, probably.
No, they were older.
Oh,
these are adults. Yeah, but rightfully so. Kick them the hell out. Like, I think the best thing you can do is I think the best thing you can do for a liberal is take him to a shooting range and have him shoot a couple rounds.
Oh, yeah, like that. Who was it?
Steven Crowder did a wonderful video on that.
I want to watch that.
The one girl was like, "Yeah, I want to do this again." The other one had, and I've met people who, like, they shoot a gun and they want nothing to do with it, and that's totally fine. But at least you understand. Because I thought the first time I shot a gun, I didn't think I would like it. Boy, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's not a power thing though. It's literally like, because I've only done shooting on a range.
I'm a stickler for aim. I want to see how far.
I will tell you right now, man. ARs are so much. They're so easy to shoot. Like, it's alarming.
Well, the thing is though, the rate of fire is not really that fast.
Yeah, it is. It's extremely fast.
It depends on you.
Well, yeah, it depends on you.
You know, just
double tap.
Person,
it's pretty fast.
But the thing is, though, you can make all kinds of modifications.
Yeah, but a lot of those aren't technically legal. But there's the tube gun. I don't know if this is still legal, but there was the tube gun.
I'm sorry, I thought loophole. This was America.
I will say, this is just a funny story. I've shot an AR-15 and an AR-10. We basically destroyed a tree stump with the AR-10. Like, it was...
Actually, I take that back. I've shot... I want to say it was a shotgun. Craig Newton's house.
Oh, I wasn't there. I've never shot a shotgun. I've also never shot a handgun. I've only shot rifles.
And AJ were out back, and they were...
I think I heard this story.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing, like, crazy, but, like... I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I shot one. I don't know. Maybe my memory's hazy. Maybe it was a paintball gun.
I'll get with my buddy.
Say it was a paintball gun.
I'll get with my buddy Joe. I have a standing invite because I told him I never shot a handgun. He's like, "You want to?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm gonna end up getting one here soon.
I keep going back and forth. I feel like I want to.
I'll get both eventually. Get an AR and a handgun.
I kind of want an AR for fun, and then a handgun for personal protection.
Yeah. PPE.
ARs are so much fun. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, AR does not stand for assault rifle.
No.
It stands for Armalite rifle. It's a brand. But they are super fun. Yeah. We already talked on that. Kamala Harris now apparently wants to make marijuana legal and expunge the records of those. I think that's great. I think it's hilarious coming from her, but...
Yeah, considering she put a lot.
Like 1900, I think.
And a lot of them had a.
Non-violent too.
Well, their ethnicity.
Yeah, that's a.
Was mostly black.
Oh, I was going to touch on this earlier. I had this thought, and I think it was great. So we were talking about Kamala Harris's heritage. Boy, if it had been I almost wish it had been a Trump-Harris debate. Because Trump could have completely messed her up, and I'll tell you how right now, because I came up with this yesterday. So, because Trump doesn't give a flying fuck, he could have totally gotten away with this.
Because you'd be in jail.
No, because that was great.
That was amazing.
So basically, Kamala Harris, and rightfully so, she points out the fact that she was the second female African American elected to the Senate. But Trump... basically could have been like, so, but, like, how many Asian women, where do you fall on the Asian scale? But think about this. This is why that would be brilliant. And it's predicated on Trump not caring. But now the pressure's on Kamala because she has to. You can't really just roll that off.
No.
Because on the one hand, she would be denying part of her heritage. And especially for somebody who's into identity politics as much as the left is, you really can't do that. So you can't ignore it. But you have to be careful how you answer it, too. Because she's just been drawing on the fact that she was black.
But then has to answer that question.
But has to answer that question. So she can either downplay her Asian ancestry.
Oh, I'm 20%.
Or has to downplay her black ancestry. And I'm like, that would have been brutal.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren.
You know, he mentioned Pocahontas in the debate. I thought that was hysterical.
That was hilarious. It's like, and then didn't she get certain something to do with college? She got
Yeah, she got a scholarship.
Yeah, so it's like.
She either got a scholarship or she got hired. I can't remember.
I mean, hired, whatever. You can't really do anything about that now, but.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Like,
there was a wonderful thing where she was talking about how she got basically fired because she got pregnant, but then a video surfaced from earlier where she basically said she willingly left to raise her child.
I remember.
That was brilliant.
Perfect. It's like, okay, you lioness.
And actually, I believe in that video, didn't she say the school tried to get her back? Like, tried to convince her to come back?
Something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. The last question. I thought, at the time I was watching it, I said the question was stupid, but I changed my tune on that. I think it was actually a very poignant and smart question. I think I just misunderstood the aim when it was being asked immediately. So I'm going to leave it. We talked about the transition of power. Charlottesville did not motivate Joe Biden to run for president. He's run many times before.
I didn't know that.
I don't think he ever got past the primaries, but... Well, he was in the 2016, he was No, he wanted to be part of the primaries, but he got told that he couldn't. They cited health reasons, which I find hysterical because it's now later. It's 4 years later.
Considering he's 78 this year.
Okay, so for those of you who can't see this... Well, you know what? I'm going to save that. I have a conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, but that's a long one. That's probably going to be a whole episode, so stay tuned. But I have a major conspiracy, and at the time it was halfway a joke, but now I'm like 80% sure that I'm right. But I do have another conspiracy. This one's shorter. The Biden-Harris logo. Everybody knows what that looks like. I put the tinfoil hat on. And this one is mostly for fun. I'm not serious, but I've definitely got the tinfoil hat on. I'm going full Alex Jones on this one. So, the E in Biden is basically just 3 red lines. Well, red is obviously the color of communism, right? Mm-hmm. But the 3 lines reminded me of the fasces, which is the symbol for fascism, which is a bundle of sticks. Also, it's 3 lines. It's the 3rd term for the Obama administration. And the fasces was a Roman symbol for the man who held imperium, which is executive authority in the Roman government.
You have the correct hat on.
Right? I know. Just saying. It's weird. It's eerie.
If he goes missing, you know why.
Yeah, if I go missing, you know why. That was the last of my notes.
Everything I've pretty much touched on, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, because pretty much almost all our notes went hand in hand. Yours just were a little more classic.
I knew when I was writing on all these notes, I was like, this is going to be way too long. I wanted it to be a shorter podcast, but that went out the window.
Honestly, it's all right. Let's see. Nope. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, if you type in Antifa.com, it goes to the Biden website. Did you know that?
What? Hang on. I'm fact checking this. Antifa.com?
Yeah.
Antifa, not Antita. Holy shit!
It's not that hard to port websites to do that.
I know, but
that's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's legit. I just did it.
Antifa.com takes you to the Biden campaign website.
It does. It takes you to a donate page.
Yeah. So who are you really donating to, people?
Oh my God! But if you type in Antifa.org,
what is it ringing to?
it says Antifa is not an organization, and then it shows
It's an idea.
It shows a tweet from Trump. The United States of America will be designating Antifa a terrorist organization, and then underneath that it just says Black Lives Matter. So this is just like a landing page. It looks like. You know, Antifa.org. Antifa is not an organization. That's the definition of an organization. Like that's a .org address is short for organization.
When Biden said it's not an organization, it's an idea.
That's nonsense.
It's like, bitch, they came together, and the guy taking donations is in trouble right now.
Yeah.
Because he was misusing them.
I mean, that's an example of something that's just a flat out. That's just nonsense.
It is whatever he is, the whatever leader, president, whatever he is. He looks like an albino.
Well, I mean, he's probably vegan.
Oh my gosh. Well,
he's probably vegan and doesn't get outdoors much.
Son of a...
As Joe Rogan would say.
Well, he was Whitey from Me, Myself, and Irene. Remember him? I killed my family with a hammer. Sound like Chris Griffin from Family Guy.
I killed my family with a hammer. Go, Dad!
I like it when he's doing the dance. It's not the Jay and Silent Bob dance, but remember he's like, "Would you do me? I'd do me." I'm pretty sure he's doing.
Goodbye Horses.
The dude from what is that movie? Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Thank you. Wow. But
Buffalo Bill.
Would you do me?
Yeah.
I'd do me. That dude was creepy.
Well, yeah.
You know who he was, right? That was Shao Kahn, dude, from Mortal Kombat.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm just fucking with you. It was Joe Dirt. Remember?
Was David Spade?
No, Joe Dirt. In the movie Joe Dirt, they had like a Buffalo Bill.
Oh, okay.
He's like, it does what it's told. All right, I'm putting the lotion on the skin. You got my magazine?
Oh, that's right. I remember that joke. Yeah, don't mess with my mind like that, man.
Gotcha.
Because I believed it. I was like, no.
Did you watch all X-Files?
No.
Oh, it's a fantastic show.
The truth is out there, but I don't know.
Shao Kahn, the actor, he was a alien bounty hunter in that show. It was fucking awesome. And, like, he never died. It was die, bitch!
He was in another movie that I was shocked by. Because, like, I didn't click it was him when I saw it the first time. And then I see it later in life. I'm like, holy shit, that's Shao Kahn.
Dude, Shao Kahn, I don't care what anyone says. Annihilation was fantastic.
Dude.
I don't care what anyone says. Like, when he's just
like...
You
just lost every subscriber.
You shall be... You know, his voice, dude, yeah.
I remember for some reason...
all 18.
For some reason, I pointed, like, Ermac for the longest time, like, with the two hands. And you guys made fun of me relentlessly for it.
Ermac was in Annihilation for like 2 seconds.
I know.
And he was kicked off into the
fucking
thing.
I would use to capture souls
Rain,
for you.
Failed me. You know, and didn't he kill Rain and fucking Ermac?
In that movie?
Yeah.
Was Rain even in it?
Yeah, he was the purple guy.
Oh, I know who Rain is, but was he in that movie? Yes, he was. I'm wrong.
Because he was like Asian.
Yeah, he was only in there for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he get kicked in the fire, right?
Was that Ermac?
No, that was Rain. Ermac lived till the final fight.
Right. Rain died. Yeah, dude. I don't care what I said. I fucking loved the original.
So you know why Rain is purple, right?
No, why?
The game developers made a Prince joke. He's Purple Rain.
Oh.
That's legit.
Whoop-dee.
So funny story about that, too. Oh my gosh, what did they say? Because they actually say something. It's a football joke because apparently the creators played football together. And that he was an offensive lineman, and that's what he would say to mess people up.
That's funny. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So that was another...
Any other questions,
podcast.
Comments before we go? Because I know we really haven't been paying attention to that.
Well, I've been trying to read them as much. Lori Van, I'm pretty sure she...
Lori's all up in the chat box tonight, which we appreciate.
You know her,
no?
You know her?
Do I?
I don't know. She knew you. She said Jake's spinning his pen again.
Well, yeah, because we just talked about it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Do I?
If that was a random, that's really cool.
Lori, if I know you and I'm just having a brain fart, I apologize.
Hey, either way, thank you for commenting and conversing. That was actually pretty nice.
That was fun.
But
Oh, I know who she. I'm sorry. I know who she is. My bad. The name's different.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we don't need to expose.
No. But yeah, Lori. Thank you for watching. I'm shocked you.
Absolutely, and thank you to the few people who did watch. I know we have 2 current viewers, so we appreciate you. And
They fell asleep.
Previous,
They totally
that's
fell
exactly
asleep.
what happened. They're like, these guys talk too fucking much.
Yeah, but you kept it on.
Yeah, so we love.
If you don't turn it off, we'll keep talking.
No, actually, we're.
So it's your fault.
It's 1:40.
I know.
We lasted almost again until 2 o'clock this time.
I know.
So stay tuned. We will probably have another. Well, we will have another episode next week. It will either be Friday or Saturday, but so
We'll try to
stop by, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and you'll see when we.
I say we do the Proud Boys episode next time.
Yeah, we actually were going.
We were gonna do that.
The VP debate took over
Because I completely forgot about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's on, so we have to talk about that.
We were eating Hooters, which was.
You were eating Hooters?
Yes, we were eating Hooters, and they were delicious. No, Hooters wings. Anyway, so we're eating that, and we're like, oh, the VP debate's on tonight, and I ended up watching like the last 45 minutes of it, and then I rewatched it again today. All right, so like we said, I will try to actually have.
We are shorter this time though.
Oh, it just popped up 140. We will try to have a. I don't know, some type of notification or something like that. We're still learning this.
We have lives.
We have lives. I have 2 children.
Because this was supposed to be tomorrow night.
Yes, but the thing is, we came to you at night early.
We brought it to you early because we are devoted like that.
So anyway, this is us signing off. Good night, and whatever bless you believe in.
Bless.
I was gonna say God bless, but I don't want to piss anyone off.
And then you just said it anyway.
No one can hear me though. Hey, thank you.